Okay, hi everyone. So this is the next video I'm doing. I'm doing Addmaths paper. This is the SBP for 2023, and this is for paper 1. Okay, so let's start. Okay, this state paper, they never provide me the formula. So yeah, but it's okay. Okay, let's start anyway. Number 1, diagram 1 shows the straight line graph obtained by plotting xy against x plus y. This is definitely linear law. Yeah. So the y-axis is xy, the x-axis is x plus y, and they provide me 2 points here, right? So we can find the gradient actually, but let's see what they want. Express small y in terms of small x. So this is small letter, right? So how do we do this? Okay, in linear law question, usually if they give you equation, you should change to linear form, right? If the linear law question give you equation, but this question they never give you equation, so it means I have to form my equation myself. So how do I form the equation myself? Well, we have to write big Y equals to m big X plus C, right? This is how you write equation of straight line. But make sure the y-axis and the x-axis you use capital letter, right? Because your y-axis is already changed to something else, right? It's not y anymore, it's xy, right? And then the m and c you have to find yourself. So let's find the m, and you can find it. I already mentioned it because they give you 2 coordinates, very easy to find the gradient. Just use the gradient formula, y minus y divide x minus x. So you can take 8 minus 2 divide 3 minus 6. Right? You can also take 2 minus 8 divide 6 minus 3 is the same thing. 8 minus 2 is 6, 3 minus 6 is -3. You end up with -2. That's your gradient, but you still need your c. So how do you find your c? It's okay, just substitute the m inside first. M y equals to what? -2 big X plus c. C is the y-intercept, right? Oh, remember one thing. When you write the equation, I always advise students for the y-axis and x-axis, you try to write in last kali baru you tulis the y-axis, x-axis, right? Because when you want to find a c, the y-intercept, where's the y-intercept of this line? You have to panjangkan this line so that it touch the y-axis. That's the y-intercept, right? And this y-intercept they never give you, right? They never give you in the soalan. So what you have to do is you have to substitute any point yang ada passes through, right? And you will substitute inside the big X and the big Y. So I will write PT here. PT stands for passes through, and you substitute any point that yang ada passes through lah. So let's say I use 3, 8, right? You can also use 6, 2. You will get the same answer. All right. Just make sure you use a point yang ada passes through. But remember, the 3 you will substitute inside the big X and the big Y, right? So the big X is what? -2, and the big X is 3, and then the big Y is 8. So plus C like that. So now you can find your C. -6 pindah jadi +6. 8 plus 6 is 14. So now you have your big Y equals to mx plus C. Your m is -2, big X plus C is plus 14, right? It means the y-intercept of this line is actually 14, right? But sometimes students will make this mistake, right? They will straight away put in the y. Let's say they will start writing like this, right? And then the y-axis, they will write xy. And then the m, they will put -2. And then the x-axis, they straight away put the x plus y, right? And then plus c. And then when they substitute the 0.38 inside to find the c, they will substitute like this. 3 bracket 8 equals to -2 x plus y. They will put 3 plus 8, something like this. And then they do it like this to find c. This is wrong. This is wrong. Okay, this is wrong. You cannot do it like this. That is why because okay, when you substitute the 3, 8, you are not substituting inside the small x and the small y. You are substituting into the big X and the big Y. You know why? Because when you read the x-axis here, the x-axis is not x plus, it's x plus y, right? It means the 3 when you baca here, the 3, this 3 is actually the whole thing, x plus y. So when you substitute the 3, you are not substituting the 3 inside this x. You are substituting into the whole thing, inside the whole thing. Okay, like this, like the big X, the whole thing here is 3. It means you shouldn't write 3, but it's just 3 only here. And same thing for the y-axis. The y-axis is 8, right? But this 8 is not just the small y, it's the whole y-axis. So the whole y-axis have to write 8. So you shouldn't write 3 times 8, you should write 8 here. So remember not to make this mistake. That's why you see how I substitute here? This is the correct way. Whenever I write the big Y, the big X, I don't want to put in this first, right? I straight away substitute the whole big Y with 8, the whole big X with 3, get the C first. Now only I convert the y-axis. So now the y-axis is xy, and now I will write xy. And then now the x-axis is x plus y. Now I will write bracket x plus y for plus 14. Right? So this is the correct way to do it. But they want to express small y in terms of small x. So now you can just simplify and then find y lah, because you want y, right? So how do you simplify this? Okay, this one we can expand -2x minus 2y plus 14. And then since we want y, so we will try to bring the y on one side and the one yang tak ada y, I move it to the other side. It means yang ada y saya letak sekali, yang tak ada y I letak the other side. So it will become xy. This one also have y, I will bring it here, become plus 2y. And then the rest, I will just leave it here, negative 2x plus 14. This one got y, this one got y. We can factorize out the y. So you're left with x plus 2 equals to negative 2x plus 14, right? But negative 2x plus 14, you can also write it like this. 14 minus 2x. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, right? I just write the 14 in front. So what is your y? 14 minus 2x over x plus 2, all right? So that should be your final answer, all right? So 4 marks. Okay, let's continue number 2. Given that the quadratic equation, blah, 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 such that P and Q are constant, has two real and equal roots. This is the keyword here. If you see the word two real and equal roots, you have to immediately think about this. The B squared minus 4AC must equal 0, right? And there is a name. What do we call this? We call this the discriminant. Okay, discriminant, right? Or in Bahasa Melayu, the, what do you call it? The pembeza layan. Yeah, in Bahasa Melayu, this one, pembeza layan. So what does it mean by two real equal roots? It means this equation has only one x-intercept. Okay, two roots means how do you, two real roots? Roots means x-intercept. So if you have two equal roots, it means two x-intercept yang sama. Ataupun you can cakap one x-intercept, right? Because they are equal, right? So if you have two equal x-intercept means one ataupun one root is the same thing. Okay, they say express p in terms of q. So what you have to do now? Make sure your equation in general form first. Is this general form first? Is this general form? P plus 1x squared plus 2qx plus 3 equals 0. Yeah, this is general form because x squared and x and then number equals 0. So this is general form. So now you can do the b squared minus 4ac equals 0 because they say two real and equal roots. If they say two different real roots, then you will do b squared minus 4ac bigger than 0. If they say no roots, you will do b squared minus 4ac smaller than 0. So this is very straightforward. You just put everything inside. So b squared minus 4ac equals 0. So the b is 2q, the a is p plus 1, and the c is 3. 2q squared, you will end up with 4q squared, negative 4 times p plus 1 times 3. But you can times here first, then only you times here. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12 times p, so negative 12p. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12 times 1 is negative 12 equals 0. But they want to find p in terms of q or q in terms of p. They want p in terms of q. It's written here. So it means you want to p the p to be single. So how do you make the p single? So I think you can make the p positive first by moving it here. And then here you're left with 4q squared minus 12. And then you can rewrite this again, the whole thing again, to make the p, just write the 12p in front and then the whole thing belakang. And now you get your p. So your p answer is what? 4q squared minus 12 over 12, right? But can we simplify this? Yes, we can simplify this because 4 and 12, we can factorize out the 4. Because both 4 and 12 can divide 4, right? So you're left with q squared minus 12 divided 4 is 3, and then this one is 12. And since we take it out like this, now we can cut. So you're left with 3 down here. So the answer will be q squared minus 3 over 3, right? So this is how you do it. Okay, that's all. Now let's move on to question number 3. Okay, question number 3, I really want to do it up here. So let's make this smaller maybe. Okay, wait. Okay, how can we make this smaller? So yeah, I think I can use this space. All right, number 3a, let's go. Given that the quadratic equation mx squared plus m minus 2x plus 3m plus 2 equals 0, obviously this is general form, all right? So the x is the variable, so focus on the variable, x squared and x, and then equals 0. So this is actually general form. So let's write down the equation, mx squared plus bracket m minus 2x plus 3m plus 2 equals 0. This is already in general form, where m is a non-zero integer. Yeah, lah, because if m is 0, then it's not the quadratic anymore, right? Okay, find the value of m such that one of the root is the reciprocal of the other root. So whenever you see the word roots, and they never say two different roots, two equal roots, or no roots, it means you will use the Sawpore method. Fine, right? The last question, number 2, they got mentioned root also, but they got mentioned two equal real roots. That is why instead of doing Sawpore, you do the b squared minus 4ac. But this question, they never mention, they mention the word root, but they never say anything in front. They never say two different, two equal, or no roots. So this is the Sawpore method. But before you do Sawpore, let's understand what it says first. One of the root is reciprocal. What is reciprocal? Reciprocal means, for example, if x1 is alpha, the x2 will be 1 over alpha, right? So I will let the one of the root is alpha, the other one is 1 over alpha. That's what it means by reciprocal. All right. What if I want to let x1 equals to k, let's say? Yeah, can also. Then your x2 would be what? It would be 1 over k. You understand? Because reciprocal means one of the root, let's say it's 2, the other one is 1 over 2. If let's say one over the root is 3, then it's 1 over 3 like that. So I let it become alpha, so the other will become 1 over alpha. So make sure you know what the reciprocal word means. It means 1 over. All right. Okay, after you go until here, now you can proceed with your solve method. Okay, what is your solve formula? Solve formula, okay. Oops. So wait. So I think I will write down here my solve formula. So the solve formula is, okay, let's write down here. The solve formula is x1 plus x2 equals to negative b over a. And then your POR formula is x1 times x2 equals to c over a. And then there is one more solve formula, which is x squared minus SOR x plus POR equals 0. But you will only use this formula when they ask you to form equation. Form new equation. You will only use this formula. So in total, there's 3 formula to memorize in the solve, right? So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now let's use the SOR formula. What is the SOR? x1 plus x2 negative b over a. So what is the x1 plus x2? Alpha plus 1 over alpha equals to negative b over a. Okay, what is the b of the equation? M minus 2. What is the a of the equation? M. That is why just now you have to make sure it's in general form, because if it's not in general form, you can't do the solve. Because if it's not in general form, you cannot determine your a and b, right? That is why always make sure in general form before you do the solve. Okay, alpha plus 1 over alpha. I don't think you can do anything to this, right? So just leave it like this. Negative m minus 2, I think this one you can open the bracket, it becomes negative m plus 2 over m, right? And I don't think you can do anything else, because it's like, even though you pinda also is useless, because there's 2 unknown here. There's alpha and m. So maybe some of you will say something like, sir, but you can move the m here. Okay, can, but even if you do that, it doesn't help, right? You're still stuck with 2 unknowns. So why not you just stop here and then go do the POR, right? Maybe the POR will help you, right? So what is the POR? POR formula, x1 times x2 equals c over a. So it will be alpha times 1 over alpha equals to c over a. What is the c? What is the a? The c is 3m plus 2. And then over a, which is m, right? Okay, what is alpha times 1 over alpha? You can cut left with 1 equals to 3m plus 2 over m. And then divide m, you can move here, become times m. So m equals to 3m plus 2. So you can actually find the m from the POR. M pindah jadi minus 3m minus m is 2m plus 2 move there, become negative 2. So m equals to negative 1, right? And you can actually take the m negative 1, substitute back here. And then after you substitute the m, you can find the alpha, right? But I won't do that, because the question only asked me to find the value of m, right? Of course, if you're very hardworking, you want to do it, can also. But in the end, they only ask for the m. So I already get the m, so I'll just stop here, right? It means this one is useless already, right? But if you want to substitute back inside here to find alpha, you can do that lah. But since the question never asked me to find the roots, so I won't do that, right? But if the question asked me to find the roots, then obviously I have to take the negative 1 and put it in to find the alpha, because alpha is actually one of the roots, right? So you understand, huh? But since they never asked, they just want value of m, so that's it means I can stop here, right? Okay, that's the answer. Let's continue with number 3b. Okay, 3b, I'll do it down here. Let's read the question. The graph quadratic function fx equals to negative x squared plus 2px minus 5p, where p is constant, has a maximum value of 6. So this is general form. This is general form. So let's write down all the information. Fx equals to negative x squared plus 2px minus 5p, and then comma, what other information? Maximum value of 6. So I'll write here maximum value equals to 6. Okay, stop here. What is maximum value? Okay, what is maximum point? First of all, what is maximum point? Maximum point means the turning point punya coordinate lah. It means there will be x coordinate, maximum point lah. This one, we call it maximum point, right? But there is other name for the x coordinate and y coordinate. Apa nama lain untuk x coordinate? Axis of symmetry, right? We can call it axis of symmetry. And what is the other name for y coordinate? Do you remember I told you in class? The other name will be the minimum value ataupun maximum value. For this case, it will be maximum value, because it's because if it's maximum point, then obviously, because the a is negative, right? And you look here, the a is negative. So if a is negative, the shape is like this, right? So if the shape is like this, like an N shape, then definitely it's a maximum point, right? So then we call it maximum value. If it's a U shape, then we call this the minimum value, right? So there is a difference. Maximum point is the whole coordinate, x and y coordinate. But if I only mention maximum value, I'm only talking about the y coordinate. So what is 6? What is 6? 6 is the maximum value, or you can also say the maximum point punya y coordinate. That's what it means. So number 1 says what? So number 1 says By using the method of completing the square, find possible values of P. It means I have to use completing the square, convert this to vertex form. After convert to vertex form, take out the turning point. After take out the turning point, take the turning point y coordinate equals to 6. So that's the plan now. All right. So let's do complete the square and change to vertex form. First thing first, a must be positive 1. If the a not positive 1, you cannot do complete the square. So the negative, I will just take it out. Right. So what happens when you take it out is everything will divide negative 1. So divide negative 1 means you just tukar tanda. So tukar tanda or minus 2p jadi plus 2p jadi minus 2p, minus 5p jadi plus 5p. All right. And don't forget the negative you have to write in front like this. Right. Some students they will stop writing the negative. Okay, it's wrong. The negative you have to write. Okay, unless it's equal 0. If it's equal 0, then the negative you can erase straight away. But this one is equal fx, so the negative you have to put it there. Now you become negative big bracket. Now you start doing completing the square. And remember to put the big bracket. This big bracket is very important. All right, very important. So big bracket, and then it will be x squared minus 2px. Leave an empty space here plus 5p, and then leave some empty space here. Right? Why you leave the empty space here is because you want to tambah bracket square and then minus bracket square. And do you remember what you write inside the small bracket? You write b over 2. You write b over 2. So what is the b? Tengok beside here. So the b is negative 2p over 2. So this one also negative 2p over 2. Right? Remember, when you look for the b, don't tengok the first baris here. Right? I mentioned so many times in class already. If you tengok atas here, you thought the b is 2p, then it's wrong already. I always say tengok sebelah. Why cannot tengok atas here? Because the a is not positive 1. Right? So always tengok sebelah. Okay, now it will be negative big bracket. And then we will cover this thing. We will cover this. And then we just focus on here and here, right? So if we look at here, this is x squared. So x, I will write inside. Square, I will write outside. The negative 2p, just ignore, don't look at it. And then negative 2p divide 2, which is negative p. So negative p, I will write inside. The square, just write outside, right? It means you don't have to square, right? And then plus 5p, I'll write plus 5p. And then since this is minus, so I also write minus. Negative 2p and divide 2, I know I can cut, so left with negative p, but this time you have to square it. Negative p square is positive p square, and then you close the big bracket, right? But even though it's positive, I still write negative here because there's another minus outside, right? That's why. Okay, 5p and p square, you can't do it anymore. So if you can't do it anymore, means now it's time to open this big bracket. Hey, remember, the vertex form cannot have the big bracket one. That is why the big bracket very important, because your last step is to take the negative times inside this whole thing, right? So that you can open this big bracket. So now it will become negative, and now you will stop writing this bracket because you will start to expand already, and here it will become x minus p squared. Okay, let me explain to you. This negative, when you expand, when you open this bracket, it cannot go inside this bracket. Okay, the x minus p will not happen. How to say? Nothing will happen to the x minus p because there is a square. This bracket got square. So if this bracket got square, means the negative cannot go inside. So if you want to take the negative times this, you can times, but you have to write in front like that. It means you have to times it, you have to just write in front like this. You cannot go inside, right? So you just have to write outside like this. Then what about the 5p minus p square? This one, when you times the negative, it will tukar tanda lah. So the plus 5p become minus 5p. The minus p square become plus p square like this, right? And this is what we call the vertex form. Right, so I already successfully changed the general form to vertex form, and since it's a vertex form now, we can take out our turning point, right? And in this case, it's maximum. How I know? Because the a is negative, right? Negative means n shape means maximum point. And what is the x coordinate? Negative p. When I take out, you have to write p, and then the y coordinate will be negative 5p plus p square, right? So this is the turning point, but that's not what the question wants you to find. The question wants you to find p, right? Read the question. Find value of p. But they got give me information. They say maximum value is 6, right? So which one do you think is the maximum value? The x coordinate or the y coordinate? Do I take the x coordinate equals 6 or the y coordinate equals 6? The y coordinate, right? Because I mentioned to you already, the maximum value is actually the maximum point punya y coordinate, right? Maximum value means the y coordinate, right? Maximum point means the whole point, x coordinate and y coordinate, right? So this is how you do it. Now you can find p, but first, this is a quadratic equation because got square. So what you do is you just pindah everything on one side equals 0, make it into general form, and then press calculator. So p squared minus 5p, the 6 I move it here, become minus 6 equals 0. Now you get 2 answers, and then you get your answer, right? So let's do it quickly. P 3, 2 minus plus positive 3, negative 2, right? So it means your p is equals to 3 and negative 2. Wait. No. Let's press calculator. Okay, okay, what is the A? 1, -5, -6. Okay, your calculator actually give you 6 and -1. Sorry, I made a mistake. So this is actually 6 and -1. So therefore, this is P minus 6, this is P plus 1. Okay, so this should be the answer. So do I have to reject any answer here? Let's go up and see. Find possible values. You can see they put S here, values. So obviously P got more than one answer. So these two answers have to how to say, you have to include both answers lah. Because it means your P has more than one answer. That's why they say values here. So yeah, that's how you do it. Now we continue with question number 2. So I'll write it here. So let's read the question. The graph of y equals gx is the reflection of y equals fx about the x-axis. By using positive value of p from 3b1, write the function of gx. Okay, let's write our new equation first using the new value. But they say they want you to use positive value of p. So which one is the positive value of p? 6, right? So now your new equation becomes fx. You refer here, negative x squared plus 2bx. And then the 2p, you already know p, you want to use 6, right? And then x minus 5p, and then the p, you will use 6 also, because they want you to use the positive value of p. So now your equation is negative x squared plus 2 times 6 is plus 12, and then minus 5 times 6 is minus 30. So this is your equation in general form. So this is your fx. But they say gx is actually the reflection of fx about the x-axis. And then by using positive value of p from 3b1, write the function of gx. Okay, I forgot to write x here. So how do you write the function of gx? Okay, this type of question is very famous in exam as well, where they ask you to reflect x-axis ataupun reflect y-axis, right? So imagine this curve. How will the shape look like? It will look like this, right? Okay, it will look like this, right? So when it reflect x-axis, this whole shape will change to like this. Okay, but some student, they will just change the negative to positive like this, and then they will just keep everything like this. But this is wrong actually. Because when you terbalikkan, not just the A value will change to positive. There are some other things that will change as well. Let me tell you what will happen. Okay, I will explain using vertex form. Okay, I'll explain using vertex form. So I will erase all this, and because I will write in vertex form. So what this one also I will erase. So your fx is actually what? Negative. Okay, this equation actually is this equation, right? It's just that they are different form, right? So I want to explain using vertex form. So negative x minus p, they say use 6, right? So x minus 6 square, and then and then this whole thing here, belakang is 6, right? Because negative 5p plus p squared, the whole thing is 6. So here is plus 6, okay? So it means your maximum point is 6, 6, right? It's actually 6, 6. So now I want you to imagine this. The whole thing reflect x-axis. What do you think will be your shape now? It will be U shape. It means there will be no longer negative. It means it will be positive x, right? But what will be your turning point, right? What will be your turning point? Okay, some of you will tell me negative 6, but it's wrong. It's not negative 6. The x coordinate will still be 6, but the y coordinate will become negative 6, right? Do you know why? Because when you reflect x-axis, the axis of symmetry will not change, right? Let's say you have a curve like this, right? And you have 2x-intercept. And when you reflect, it will look like this, right? So tell me now, the x-coordinate of the turning point got changed or no change? No change, right? It doesn't matter, even though if it's like this, if it's this case, when you reflect, it's the same case, right? Can you see your x-coordinate of the turning point never change? It means it doesn't matter whether your curve is like sentuh paksi x 2 point ataupun sentuh 1 point or tak ada sentuh. It doesn't matter. When you reflect x-axis, your x-coordinate of the turning point will not change. It means your axis of symmetry will not change. That is why your x-coordinate of the turning point is same as before. 6, this is also 6. It means here you have to write minus 6. Okay, so that when you take out, it becomes positive 6. But what about the y-coordinate? Of course, the y-coordinate will change because the originally is very high, right? But when you reflect down, it becomes negative 6. That's why this is negative 6, right? And that should be your answer. Okay, so this is how you do it, right? But do you have to expand all these things to make it into general form? You don't need to do that. If you want to do that, can also, but you don't need to do that. Okay, you can stop here, you get full mark, right? If you want to expand it and change to general form, it's fine. You can do that also, right? If you want, but I won't do it. I'll just stop here. Okay, that's how you do it. Okay, let's go to number 4. Let's read the question. Solution by scale drawing is not accepted. Okay, tak penting. Now we read down here. Diagram 2A shows 3 straight line. Okay, we can see it. 1, 2, 3. The straight line BC is perpendicular to AB. The moment you see the word perpendicular in Addmaths, when you see the word perpendicular, immediately write this thing. M1 times M2 equals -1. Right? Because perpendicular means these both lines, their gradient times together will be -1, right? If perpendicular, right? And then they say parallel to straight line AD. Well, the moment you see the word parallel, M1 equals to M2. Because parallel means these two lines have same gradient, right? But let's label it inside here also. BC perpendicular to AB. BC is this, AB is this, perpendicular. So put a 90-degree here, right? It means these two gradient times is -1. And then what else parallel? AB, yeah lah, AB and wait, BC is perpendicular to AB and parallel to AD. It means the line yang parallel to AD is BC. So BC is this line, AD is this line. I'll draw an arrow like this to remind myself they are parallel. All right, parallel means same gradient. Okay, now I think this chapter is coordinate geometry already. Okay, I'm confident this is coordinate geometry chapter, Form 4 chapter. Huh? Now we read down here, see what they want. 3 marks. Given the coordinates of B and C, 0, 6, 3, 0. So B coordinate is 0, 6. Let's go here and write 0, 6. And then point C is 3, 0. Let's write down. It means these 2 points, this point is the y-intercept, this point is the x-intercept actually. And then they say find the coordinates of A and D. Okay, A is here, D is here. Okay, even though I don't know the coordinate of A and D, but I actually know, like for example, this point A, this is x-intercept, right? Why I call it x-intercept? Because it's a point on the x-axis, right? If this point is on the x-axis, the y-coordinate will be 0, right? Same for point D. You don't know the full coordinate, but you know that the x-coordinate must be 0 because this is the y-intercept. And when it's a y-intercept, when the point is on y-axis, the x must be 0. So we just don't know we don't know the y-coordinate here, right? But we know the x-coordinate is 0. So now we will start to find the coordinates, the full coordinate of A and D. So how do we find it? Very obvious, very obvious, very obvious. We need to use the M1 times M2 -1 for limit and the M1 equals to M2. So how do we do it? First of all, can we find BC gradient? Yes, because we have two coordinates. And since the ABC gradient and AB gradient have this relation, because they are 90-degree, so we can take the gradient here times with the gradient here equals to -1. But we don't have the coordinate for this one, right? We don't have the full coordinate, but it's fine because I know how to say, the hasil darab is -1 after you times together. So it will be what? Gradient of BC times with gradient of AB equals to -1 because they are perpendicular, right? And then I'll just open a bracket here and then open another bracket here equals to -1. So for BC gradient, it will be 6 minus 0 divide 0 minus 3, right? And then AB gradient, I will take y minus y, x minus x, so it will be 0 minus 6 divide x minus 0. But you don't have the x, right? But it's fine because you can pinah, then because you have the answer -1, so you can pinah, you can get the x, right? Okay, 6 divide -3, which is just -2. And then 0 minus 6, which is just -6 over x equals to -1, right? -2 times -6, which is positive 12 over x equals to -1. So your x is -12, right? It means your point A is actually -12, 0, right? So you understand, right? Why is it -12? Because when you move the x here, it becomes -x equals to 12. And then you move back the -1 down here. That's why it's -12. So the point A is -12, 0. But you still have to find your point D. And how do you do it? Use this formula. M1 equals M2, right? Because this gradient and this gradient is same. Why same? Because they are parallel, right? So I'll do it here. Gradient of BC and gradient of AD. This time you will not write times equal -1. This time you will just put equal because they are parallel, right? So what is the gradient of BC? You find already just now. BC gradient is -2. So just write -2. And for AD gradient, you can find it now. Just take the y coordinate minus y coordinate, divide x coordinate minus x coordinate. So since this one I don't know, I'll just call it y. So it'll be y minus 0 divide 0 minus -12, right? So it'll be y over positive 12 equals to -2. So now it'll be y equals to -24. And therefore your point D is 0, -24, right? So this is your point A coordinate. And then this is your point D coordinate, right? So is that what they asked for? Yeah. So that's the answer, right? So finish already, right? Okay, let's continue with P. Diagram 2B shows part of the locus P. So P is the moving point. P is the moving point. If locus means moving point, and then they say find equation of locus P. Okay, if you look at the diagram given here, obviously this one is P, right? P is here, 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 and okay, it means P is moving along this curve, right? But if you keep drawing this, obviously it will form a circle, right? But when you find the equation of circle, you need two important information. One important information is the radius, and another information is the radius coordinate. Then only you can manage to find the equation of circle, right? So when we do locus, the first step is always let the moving point. Which one is the moving point in this case? P, right? So we will let that point become xy, right? And do you remember the two information you need to have before finding the equation? You need the center coordinate and the radius. Do you have those two things? The first thing is the center coordinate. You have it 0, 0, and the radius you have it also is 10, right? And if you have these two, you can find the you can find the what do you call it? You can find the equation of the circle, right? The equation of P. But how you will find it? You will use the distance formula. Okay, whenever you do locus, you will use the distance formula one, right? So yeah, I will use the distance formula, but the distance of what? Distance of PO is always 10 units, right? Because P is moving along this curve, right? It will keep moving a circle, right? But the condition here is the P and O distance is always 10 units, right? So by using this formula, you can actually form the equation of circle, right? You can find the equation. So what is the distance formula? Square root bracket square plus bracket square equals to 10. And this for what you write inside the bracket here is x minus x, y minus y, right? This is the formula for distance, by the way. So what is the point P and point O? Point P is xy, point O is 0, 0. So what you do is you take x minus x, y minus y. So it'll be x minus 0, you write here. And then y minus y, which is y minus 0, you write here. So now you can simplify this, then you get the answer. Okay, how do we hilangkan the square root? You will square both sides. So you will square here, and then you will square here. So what happens to the 10? It will become 100 because you will square it. And then what happens to this square root? It will disappear. It will hilang because square root and square, they will cut it. They can, how to say? You can cut, they can cancel each other out. So you will just left with whatever down here, which is x minus 0 square, x square, y minus 0 square, y square. But usually when we write locus, we want it to be everything on one side equals 0. So I will pinda the 100. So it'll be x squared plus y squared minus 100 equals 0. And this equation is the equation of circle. The x squared plus y squared minus 100, that's the equation of this curve, right? The circle, right? So this is the answer, right? So you get 2 marks, right? Okay, let's continue. Okay, so let's continue with question number 5. So let's read the question. The following ordered pairs represents the function hx. So what is ordered pairs? Ordered pairs means they will write the object and image in this form, like the coordinate form. So what you do is you need to know this coordinate, the x coordinate will be the object, the y coordinate is the image. This one same, object image, also object image, object image, object image. And then they want us to find the value of k, right? Okay, if you want to find the value of k, first you need to determine the relation of object and image first. You need to know the relation between object and image, then only you can find the value of k, right? Because the k is referring to this k, right? And you can see this k, k plus 1 is when the image is 3. Okay, k plus 1 is the object when the image is 3, right? So how do we figure out the relation between object and image? Okay, let's see. Negative 4 becomes 3. Negative 3 becomes 2. Negative 2 becomes 1. 1 becomes 2. So it's actually very hard, right, to figure out the relation this way. So what I will do is I will convert this into a graph. Okay, I will convert this into a graph. So now I will draw the graph out. Okay, let's draw it nicely. Okay, so let's use the line here. So I will draw it like this, right? And I will draw like this. And then I will try to plot every point here and see how the straight line looks like. So the first one is negative 4, 3, right? So I think lebih kurang here lah. So this is my first point. So let's call this point number 1. And then negative 3, 2, I think it's negative 3, 2. So it's like here. It's point number 2. And then point number 3 is negative 2, 1. All right. Which is here. Point number 3. And then point number 4 is 1, 2. Okay, this is 0, right? So point 1, 1, 2, I think it's here. Right. And then the last one is k plus 1, 3. So we don't know where's k plus 1, but we do know the y coordinate is 3. So the fifth point here must be somewhere here, I guess, right? Somewhere on this line, because the y coordinate is 3, right? So how do we figure out the relation here? Okay, of course you can convert into an arrow diagram and then -4, 3 like that can also, all right? But it's the same thing lah, huh? So we're trying to figure out the relation here. Okay, let's think about this. When the object is -4, the image is 3, right? The object is -3, the image is 2. The object is -2, the image is 1. The object is 1, the image is 2. And then the last point, we don't know the object, but we know the image is 3, right? So if you look carefully here, what do you think will happen if I join all these points, right? It will form what shape? It will actually form this shape. And then when you tarik further, right, it will be something like this, right? It will be like a V-shaped curve, right? It means this graph can actually show us that this function is actually modulus, got modulus. How we know got modulus? Because these 3 points, when you join it, it will form a straight line. But this next point is not along this line, right? So we know that definitely this line, when it reaches the x-axis, it will reflect up here. So definitely there is a modulus in your equation. So now I think since we know already got modulus, now we just have to figure out what is the relation, right? So -4, how to become 3? Uh, uh, okay, I think I know already. It's x plus 1, right? Because if -4 plus 1, right? If the object is -4 plus 1, it will be -3. And when you modulus it, it becomes 3, right? So what about the next one? -3 plus 1 is -2, right? And then modulus -2 is 2, right? Which is exactly this. And then same with this. -2, when -2 is the x, -2 is the object. When you plus 1, you get -1, and you modulus, you get 1. So same thing here. When you take 1 plus 1, you get 2. Modulus 2 is 2. So what is the value of k? All right, very easy. It means you substitute the equation inside here. So to get the a1, k plus 1 is the object, so it will be modulus. Okay, you already know the function already. The function for hx is actually modulus x plus 1, right? So now you just have to substitute the x with k plus 1 and the 3 with the image. So the whole thing equals to 3. And then this one, it will be modulus x plus 1. And the x here is the object, which is k plus 1. So what is k plus 1 plus 1? It will be k plus 2 with the modulus equals to 3. And how to get your k? You will pinna modulus. When you pinna modulus, what happens? Got two answers. One positive, one negative. So k plus 2 equals 3 and -3. So k equals 1 here, k equals -5. Right? But if you think logically, you will know the k is actually wait. Did I do it correctly? Negative k plus 1. K plus 1 is k plus 2 equals 3. 3 minus 2 is 1. -3 minus 2 is -5, right? So which one is the answer? Okay, if k equals to 1, it means this point will become what? 1 plus 1, it will be 2, 3, right? But if k is -5, then this whole point become -5 plus 1, which is -4, 3. But if you look at -4, 3, isn't it the same with this, right? So definitely the k must be 1, right? Because if the k is -5, then this point and this point is the same point already. So the k must be 1, right? It means the 0.5 will denote here, right? And the x coordinate of this point is 2, right? So the k must be 1, so that the 1 plus 1 become 2. So this is point number 5. Okay, it means that when y equals to 3, there's actually two objects. One is 2, one is -4. One is 2, one is -4. But the -4, 3 point is already listed here. So that's why the one I'm finding is the other one, which is the 2, 3 point. So the 2, 3 point means what? Means the k must be 1. Then only the x coordinate will be 1 plus 1, which is 2, right? Okay lah, hope you understand. All right, so this is how I would do it. Let's go to our next question. Second question. Using function notation, write the function hx in terms of x. Well, you know the answer already. Hx equals to modulus x plus 1. Yeah, just copy from here, right? Of course, this diagram you don't have to You don't have to write in the working, right? This is just my explanation. Okay, let's continue with B. Given that fx equals to this, let's write it down. Fx equals to x minus 3 squared plus 1. Okay, this looks like a vertex form, right? And then x bigger sama dengan m. All right, okay, I think this is important also. Like it's like a range such that f inverse exists. Ayo, what is this? F inverse exists. Okay, Tapa, we read the whole thing first. Number 1, determine value of m. Number 2, find the range of values of fx. Okay, how do we determine value of m, right? Okay, it says here that the x must bigger ataupun sama dengan m, then only the f inverse exists. Okay, what is f inverse exists? F inverse exists means when you do the horizontal line test, the horizontal line will only cut the graph at one point. Okay, then only it means that the F inverse exists. So how you do it? You by using horizontal line test, right? So for example, if I have a line like this and I do horizontal line test, right? If the horizontal line cuts the graph at one point, then it means it passed the test. It means this graph has inverse, right? But if it like this, if I cut it and the horizontal line cut at 2 points, then you know this function does not have inverse, right? So if you look carefully at this equation, this function, it's like a quadratic. Can you see? It's a quadratic and it's in vertex form. So when you draw it out, it's actually like this, right? X minus 3 squared plus 1, yeah. And you even know the minimum point punya coordinate, which is 3, 1, right? Because you just take out, okay? It's like a vertex form, right? So what happens if you draw a horizontal line? Obviously, it will fail the test, right? Because in order to pass the test, the horizontal line can only cut at one point. Then only it means that this function has inverse, right? So what do you think? X have to be bigger or sama dengan M, then only the F inverse exists. It means your X have to be bigger sama dengan 3 lah, right? Because if X bigger sama dengan 3, because if you draw your graph like this, obviously it will fail the test, right? But what if you draw your graph starting from the X3? It means it means your graph will look like this instead, right? And if it looks like this, then the inverse will exist already, because when you draw the line like this, anywhere you draw, it will pass the test. Do you understand? It means the X have to be bigger sama dengan 3, then only the F inverse can exist. It means your M must be 3, because you will compare this with this. So X bigger sama dengan M, X bigger sama dengan 3 means M is 3, right? So I hope you understand. It means in order for the F inverse to exist, you have to draw your graph in this way, where you start from the X coordinate M. It means your starting point have to be 3, 1. You understand? Because if you start from the point like this, then the horizontal line test will cut the graph at 2 points, right? That is why the range has to be like this, right? Okay, now they say find the range of values of fx. Fx punya range means it has to be bigger sama dengan 1 lah, right? Because okay, this is your y-axis, this is your x-axis, right? So you already know you will draw your graph starting from x3, right? So when you write down the range for x, you will tengok paling kiri, paling kanan. You will tengok kiri kanan, right? So this one is paling kiri. They already said paling kiri is 3, right? So from 3 onwards, then you draw to the right. But the range of fx, if you tengok atas bawah punya range, right? So you tengok paling bawah, right? Paling atas we cannot predict because they never give me any ending point here. But paling bawah we know it's 1, right? So we will know that if my x punya range, my kiri kanan punya range has to go from 3 onwards ke kanan, then my y coordinate, it has to be 1 onwards. 1 onwards paling ke atas, right? So that's why your fx is bigger sama dengan 1, right? Okay lah, I hope you understand my explanation. So let's continue with the next question. Okay, number 6, this is coordinate vector. How I know? Because I see bracket, bracket, bracket. So when you see bracket, 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 it means this is vector in terms of ij. So it's coordinate vector. Let's read the question. Given vector PQ is 5i plus 7j, but they write it in the column vector form, 5, 7. And then this one, 2, 3, k5. And then they say find coordinates of P. Okay, this is quite easy. But I want to mention something. If they give you, like, for example, vector OQ is 2, 3, it means you can straight away list down the coordinate of Q is 2, 3. Right? Because if I say coordinate OQ, what it means is coordinate Q minus coordinate O, right? But if you start from coordinate O is 0, 0, is 0, 0. It means if I say OQ is 2, 3, it means point Q is 2, 3, right? Because when you take coordinate Q minus coordinate O, you will take 2, 3 minus 0, 0. That's why you get 2, 3 here, right? So if I say vector OP is negative 1i plus 5j, It means what is your coordinate P? It'll be negative 1, 5, right? But you can only do it like this when your starting point is 0, 0, when your starting point is O, right? If your starting point is P or maybe R, then of course your coordinate will be something else, right? So, but if you start from 0, 0, then whatever the number here, that will be the coordinate of the point Q, right? Because the number atas is for pergerakan yang kiri kanan, nombor bawah is for pergerakan yang atas bawah. And you start from O, it means if you start from 0, 0, if you go 2 ke kanan and then 3 ke atas, obviously this point will be 2, 3, right? If you go from O, okay? But if you go from PQ, other points, then you can't do like that. Okay, soalan A, want to find coordinate of P. Okay, of course, I don't have my coordinate P here. The only thing I can take out here is coordinate of Q, so it's very difficult, right? So how do you get your coordinate of P? Well, you already have the PQ and OQ. So coordinate of P means you are finding OP lah. Okay, coordinate of P means you're finding OP. Do you know why? Because I mentioned already, right? If you have OQ is 2, 3, it means your Q coordinate is 2, 3, right? So if you want to find coordinate of P, it means you can find your coordinate of P by using OP vector, right? Because once you find your OP vector, you straight away know your P coordinate already. Just take out like this, like how I show you just now. But how to find your OP? You will go OQ plus QP, right? Why I do it like this? Because I know I have vector OQ and I have vector QP. What is vector OQ? 2i plus 3j, or you can write like this, 2, 3. And then what is vector QP? Okay, PQ is 5, 7. So what is QP? Negative 5, negative 7, right? It means vector PQ is 5i plus 7j, but vector QP is negative 5i minus 7j. Now you will take atas tambah atas, bawah tambah bawah. 2 minus 5, negative 3, 3 minus 7, negative 4. So since your vector OP is negative 3, negative 4, then what is your vector P? What is your coordinate P? It will be negative 3, negative 4, right? Because OP vector means it means you are taking the P coordinate minus the O coordinate. But since your O coordinate is 0, 0, it means that when you take P coordinate, which is negative 3, negative 4, when you minus, it means you are taking this P coordinate minus 0, 0 to get this, right? So that's why that's the answer, right? So that's how you do it, lah. So you can actually do it another method. Can I show you another method? So they got mentioned P to Q is what? 5, 7, right? So if I want vector PQ, it means you take which coordinate minus which coordinate? Coordinate Q minus coordinate P, right? So if you can actually imagine if you have your point Q 2, 3, how to get your point P? Okay, your point P will be XY, right? Because you don't know you're trying to find, right? But the 5, 7 is vector P to Q. It means coordinate Q minus coordinate P will give you 5, 7. That's what it means. It means you will take Q minus P, but you will take X minus X, which is 2 minus X, and then 3 minus Y, like that. And then you will take 2 minus X equals 5, and then 3 minus Y equals 7. This is another method. You will also get negative 3. This one you will also get negative 4, right? Which is exactly the same as same answer as this, right? So these are two different methods lah. Okay, so you can either do it like this, you can also do it like this, right? Both method will give you the same answer. Okay, so just choose one working lah. All right, now let's do B question. B, I will do it here. They want to find unit vector in direction of OP. All right, unit vector. So do you remember what is unit vector? So unit vector in direction of OP. Okay, do you realize when I write the unit vector, I never write here, right? I leave some empty space here before I write the unit vector because I know the formula for unit vector is what? What is the formula for unit vector? 1 over magnitude times with vector, right? That's the formula for unit vector. So the formula for unit vector, make sure you memorize, it's 1 over magnitude times with the vector. Okay, and the vector has to be in terms of ij. So that is why I leave this empty space here to find the magnitude. So first I need to find magnitude of OP first lah, because I'm finding unit vector of OP. So what is the magnitude formula? Square root bracket square plus bracket square. And what you have to write inside the bracket? You have to write the coefficient of I and j, right? Which is negative 3 and negative 4. So what you do is you just put it inside the bracket, and then you will end up with 5. Right? Because 9 plus 16 is 25, square root 25 is 5. So the magnitude is 5. Now you can find the unit vector. What's the formula? 1 over magnitude times vector. The magnitude is 5, so this one you put the magnitude. This one you put the vector in terms of ij, which is negative 3i minus 4j. But if you don't want to write in ij form, you want to write in bracket, can also. Then it will look like this, and then you can expand it. So now it becomes negative 3 over 5, and then negative 4 over 5. All right? This is the answer. If you want to write in ij, can also, it will be negative 3 over 5i minus 4 or 5j. Yeah, it's the same thing. Okay. Okay, let's do question C. Okay, question C says what? Find the value of K if RS is parallel to PQ. Okay, whenever you see the word parallel in this chapter, you will straight away take your 2 vector and then you will equal, but you have to tambah satu unknown, right? You have to tambah satu unknown. Okay, usually I will tambah K, but this question don't use K because the K already have in the question. So you can tambah M maybe, or maybe you can tambah any other alphabet. Just make sure you don't use K because the K is already sudah ada dalam soalan. Because if you add K later, you will confuse, right? So let's use vector, let's use M, right? And what this M represents is it represents the ratio. This M is actually the ratio, right? It means when 2 vectors are parallel, you can equal, but you have to add a unknown here because they might not be same length, right? That's why you have to add a ratio unknown to represent ratio. But you need to also make sure you have vector RS and PQ before continue. Do you have RS and PQ? The answer is yes. RS is here, PQ is here. So just substitute inside. RS is KI plus 5J, and then PQ is 57, which is 5I plus 7J. And now you can actually just simply just how to say expand this and then compare. So M times 5 is 5M, this one is 7M, and this one is K5. And how do you compare atas dengan atas, bawah dengan bawah? So K equals 5M, and then 5 equals 7M. Ataupun you boleh cakap compare the coefficient of I with coefficient of I, and then compare the coefficient of J together. Right? It's the same thing. Okay, how do you find value of K? I think you need value of M here, 5/7, and then put it inside here. K equals to 5 times M, 5/7, so K equals 25/7. So that is the answer, right? So that's how you find K, right? Then what about this? This is not the answer. This is just the ratio. Okay. Okay. Let me show you another method. There's another method that I teach you in class. All right. Do you remember the fast method I teach you in class? If 2 vectors are parallel, you can also do it like this, right? Okay. What is vector RS? Ki plus 5j. And what is vector PQ? 5I plus 7j. So do you remember I call this the black box method? In my class, I call it the black box method. Why I call it black box? Because I will use black marker to explain, like to how to say, to explain this. So yeah, anyway, how do you do the black box method is you just circle the coefficient, circle the coefficient, circle the coefficient, circle the coefficient, and then you can take atas bahagi bawah or bawah bahagi atas, up to you. But you can only do like this when they mention the word parallel or collinear, right? So this question got mentioned parallel. That's why you can take, let's say I take atas bagi bawah lah. So it'll be K over 5 equals to 5/7. And then move the 5 here, and then you'll get 25%. So you can also do it like this. This is the fast way lah. And you can see the answer is same, right? But of course, if you do it like this, you will not get the ratio. Okay, but if you do it this way, you will get the ratio. Okay, if you do it like this, it's way faster, right? So yeah, so you can, because this question only 2 marks only, right? So I think if you do it like this also, they will give you full mark, right? So that's for you to decide lah, which method you want to do, okay? But sometimes the question, they will ask you to find the ratio. Then if they want to find the ratio, then I don't recommend using this method, right? Because this method, you can't find the ratio, okay? So if they want the ratio, then maybe you have to use this method, okay? So yeah. Okay, number 7. Let's read the question. The Bees company are promoting a big sale in conjunction with the 99 sales carnival. Okay, all smartphones sold are given a sale discount of 15%. All right, 15%. The price D after the sale discount is given by function dp is 0.85p. I think I have to write this down, right? Because definitely it will be useful later. Okay, so dp equals to 0.85p. And what is p stands for? P represents the original price of the smartphone. And then what about the D? D is the price after sales discount. So I think I should write this down also. So D is what? The price. Okay, let's write. Okay, let's make it bigger. The price after discount. Okay, this is the money symbol. And then what is P? P is the original price. So I'll just call it ori price, right? So D is the price after discount. This one is the ori price. And the formula is 0.85p, which makes sense lah, because discount 15%. It means you are paying only 85%. You're only paying 85% of the price, because if it's discount 15% means you're paying 85% of the price lah. That's why it's 0.85 times with the original price, right? Okay, let's keep reading. Nan plans to buy a smartphone, right, from B's company. Since she was selected as the company's 100,000 customers, she is eligible for a 20 ringgit coupon for the smartphone purchase. The price K after the coupon discount is given by the function KP P minus 20, where P is the original price of the smartphone. So if she wants to buy a smartphone, she will get another discount here, right? The coupon discount, right? So discount 20 ringgit. So let's write down the equation. It will be KP equals to P minus 20. And let's write down what the K represents and what the P represents. K represents price after coupon discount. So price after discount. But this one is after coupon discount. And then P is what? P is the original price, price, right? This one, what about the atas punya? This one also discount, but this one is the sales discount, right? So after sales discount, right? Okay, now soalan A, I'll write here. Intan may use both price discount, write a composite function based on the following situation. Number one, taking the sale discount first, then taking the coupon. Situation two, taking the coupon first, then taking the sale discounts. I think this one you just do composite function. You just combine these two functions. But when you combine, you have to write it according to which one first, right? Depending on which one first. So if they say sale discount first, it means the sale discount is D or K. It's D, right? It means the D have to duduk dalam. Siapa first, siapa dalam, right? So siapa first, sale discount first. Sale discount first means the D is the sales discount, right? So the D have to duduk dalam. It means the K will be outside like this, right? So how do you do this? First, the K, leave it first. Buat dalam dulu. So DP, you have already 0.85p. And then now, after you masuk dalam punya function, now only you tengok outside. So this one is 0.85p. Okay, now we already write this. Now we tengok outside. So what is the outside function? K. Can you see this is also K? So if this is K, it means they are both the same function. It means you can write this down. You can write the P minus 20 down. But when you write, you have to be careful because you cannot write P. You have to write 0.85p because the bracket P now already changed to bracket 0.85p. So the P at the back here also changed to this. So this is your answer, 0.85p minus 20. Okay. Then what about question 2? Question 2, they says the situation must be taking coupon first, then only taking the sale discount. So siapa first, siapa duduk dalam. So siapa first, coupon first. So coupon is K. So K have to be inside the big bracket. Because siapa kena, because we always buat dalam dulu. So if they say coupon first, then the function of the coupon, the price after coupon must be inside lah. And then the D must be outside. So the D outside kita jangan buat dulu, kita buat dalam dulu. Dalam is KP, which is P minus 20. And now you can continue. Okay, after you put it, substitute the K function inside, now you will look at the D function. So do you have the D function? Yes, it's here, right? So what is the D function? 0.85p. This is also the D function. So they are the same function. So it means you can write down the 0.85p, but you have to be careful because instead of writing P, what you have to write? You have to write P minus 20 because now the D bracket P already changed to D bracket P minus 20. So the P at the back also changed to P minus 20. And when you expand this, you will get 0.85p and then 0.85 times 20. You can press calculator. Okay, my calculator give me 17. Okay, so it's minus 17. So this is the first question answer. This one is the second question answer, right? Now we can do B down here. So let's read what it says. Hence, calculate the lowest price paid by Intan if the original price is 1899. So this is the original price, which is the P lah. Because I already labeled here, right? P represents original price. So now your P is actually the 1899. So your P is 1899. And then state the answer to the nearest RM. It means they don't want you to write in decimal point lah. They want you to round it off. So how to get the lowest price? Okay. Which one will give you the lowest price? Taking sale discount first or taking coupon discount first? Of course, it will be taking sale discount first. You know why? Because look at the function. This is the answer, right? So do you think it's 0.85p minus 20 will be lower or 0.85p minus 17 will be lower? Obviously, minus 20 will be lower, right? Because if you look at both functions, they are both 0.85p, but this one minus 17 ringgit. This one minus 20 ringgit. So which one will give you the lowest price? Obviously this one. Obviously this one, right? So how to get your lowest price? So the lowest price paid by Intan will be this using this formula, which is 0.85p minus 20, and the P you will ganti with 1899, right? If you ganti P inside this function, you will get another answer, and the answer will not be lower than this, right? This is the lowest one. So now you press calculator, and then you will get the price, right? So let's see what I get. 0.85 times 1899 minus 20. Okay, my calculator give me 1594.15, right? So I'll just write RM. So this is the lowest price, RM 1594, but I will not write the 0.15 because they say nearest RM, right? So I'll just write nearest RM. Okay, the nearest RM is 1594, right? So this is how you do it. Okay, let's continue with number 8. Number 8 says, given that A is the first term and D is the common difference of an arithmetic progression. So very obvious, this is progression chapter, Form 4 chapter also. Show that the sum of first n term of the progression is given by this formula. Okay, this formula, they want you to prove this formula, right? So how do you prove this formula? Okay, let's write down all the all the formula in arithmetic progression. The first formula that you learn is Tn, which is A plus n minus 1d. Okay, and you will use this formula later. And then the next formula is the Sn formula, n over 2 big bracket 2a plus n minus 1d, right? And then, but there's also another formula for Sn, which is n over 2a plus l, but we seldom use this formula, right? We jarang guna formula ni, right? And then there's I think that's all, right? Yeah, that's all. We don't have S infinity. For arithmetic, don't have. So this only this formula, right? Okay, now they want me to prove this formula, which is this one, which is this one, right? Okay, these days, this type of question is really famous these days, where they ask you to prove this formula, because it came out in the Sabah paper also. But in the Sabah paper, they asked me to prove this formula, the S infinity formula in the Sabah paper. Okay, Sabah trial for this year, the S infinity formula, right? And I already make one video for Sabah, so if you want the explanation, you can go watch it yourself, right? So in this paper, they actually want me to prove this formula, but I want to mention this type of question is really famous in the trial question. Like even in my trial 2022 video, also a lot of this question, like how to say, a lot of same type of question like this came out in the trial 2022, right? And in 2023, so far I only made two state paper, right? 2023, the first state paper I made is the Sabah one, and the Sabah, both paper 1 and paper 2 both have this one where they ask you to prove formula, but not this formula, like the other SN formula for geometric one. Okay, and then paper 2 also have, and then now this paper also have. So this question is very famous in trial. So let's start the proving. So how do we prove this formula? Okay, first of all, Sn stands for sum of first n term. So we all know if we want to find sum, we will plus all the terms, right? So what do I mean by Sn here? It means I'm taking T1 plus T2 plus T3 plus T4 plus and so on. So you just plus until the end, right? So what I will write now here is I will write T1 plus T2 and then plus T3 and then keep going until the Tn. Okay, so for example, if I want to find S7, sum of first 7 term, it means I will take T1 plus T2 plus T3 until T7, right? And then if I want to find S6, then I'll plus until T6 lah, right? But what do you think will be the term before Tn? It will be Tn minus 1, right? So the term before Tn will be Tn minus 1. Okay, so now we will write this Sn formula again by using the Tn formula. So we all know T1 is actually the A, right? And then T2 will be A plus D, right? A plus D, which D is the common difference, right? And then T3 will be A plus D, which is A plus 2D, right? And then you will keep going plus until the Tn minus 1 term. So this term will be what? It will be A plus n minus 1D. But the n now is n minus 1, so it will be n minus 2D, right? And then the last one, then the last term, then only it will become A plus n minus 1D, right? I'm just using the Tn formula, okay? The Tn formula. So the Tn formula is A plus n minus 1D, so that's what I'm doing. So if T2, it will be A plus 1D, T3, A plus 2D, Tn minus 1, A plus n minus 2D, because n minus 1 minus 1 is n minus 2, and then Tn will be A plus n minus 1D, all right? Okay, now I will write this again, but I'll write it a little bit differently. Instead of writing it like this, So let's put bracket, okay, so that it's more clear. So let's write like this. So can you see got how many red color brackets here? Depending on your n, right? Because like let's say if you this is S7, it means you will write until T7, right? It means there will be 7 red color bracket, right? If this one is 8 S8, then there will be 8 red color bracket, right? So how many red bracket you have here? N. There is n times of red color bracket here, right? So now what I will do now is I will write this again, but I'll write it a little bit differently. Instead of writing A first, I'll write the last term first. So I'll write A plus n minus 1D, right? And then I'll write my second term will be this term, which is A plus n minus 2D. And then I'll keep going until the last two term, which is A plus D. And then the last one is plus A, right? And I will put red color bracket so you can see it more clear like this, right? After putting red color bracket, now what I will do is I will pair up all these terms, right? But how do we pair it up? It means this is equation 1, this is equation 2. I will take equation 1 plus with equation 2, right? So when I take equation 1 plus equation 2, what will happen is the Sn will plus with the Sn. It means I'm getting 2Sn, right? And then when I plus, I will plus like this term with this term like this, right? And then this term with this term, okay? And then it keeps going on and on. Okay, let's take A plus n minus 1D. What will happen? A plus A will become 2A plus n minus 1D, right? This is what happens when you take this term plus with this. Then what about A plus D plus with this? So what do you think will happen? A plus A will be 2A. And then D plus n minus 2D. Okay, you can expand this. You will end up with what? D plus with n minus 2D. When you expand, you will get nd minus 2D, right? And what is d minus 2D? You will get negative 1D. So the whole thing is nd minus d, right? So let me repeat one more time. D plus nd minus 2D, the nd you just write it, and then d minus 2D is negative 1D. But after you get the nd minus 2D, nd minus d, do you realize this is exactly the same as this? Because what happens when you expand here? What happens when you expand this? You will get nd minus d, right? Which is exactly the same. It means this is exactly the same as this, n minus 1d, right? And then it will keep going until the last two terms add together. So these two terms add together. What happens? A plus A, 2A. And then what is n minus 2d plus d? Okay, what happens when you expand this? You will get nd minus 2d, right? And then plus d. And then what happens here? You will get nd, negative 2d plus d. Negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. So this is the answer. And guess what? nd minus d is the same as n minus 1 bracket d. Because when you expand this, you will get nd minus d. It means the result here is n minus 1d also, right? And then for my final one, I will pair up these two terms. So it becomes a plus a, you will get 2a. And then n minus 1d, you just write it, right? Because there's nothing here, right? So it means a tambah a and then plus with n minus 1d lah, because you are taking equation 1 plus equation 2. Okay, now I will also write down the red color bracket so you can see it more clear. Okay, now how to continue? Okay, since I'm proving the Sn formula, of course I have to divide 2, right? Because this is the 2Sn. But before you divide 2, let me just ask you one thing. How many red color bracket do you have here? Because all of it, can you see, is the same thing? 2a plus n minus 1d, 2a plus n minus 1d, 2a plus n. It just keeps repeating the same thing, right? But yeah, it just keeps going on and on. So how many times the 2a plus n minus 1d will appear? How many times do you have? How many red color bracket do you have? There will be n number of times, right? Because I mentioned already, the red color bracket is actually come from, because this red color bracket come from this bracket plus this bracket, right? And this bracket actually come from T1, right? Then what about this red color bracket? This red color bracket come from here, which come from here, which come from the T2, right? It means that in total got how many bracket? N lah, n times, right? Because here also got n times of red color bracket, here also got n times. So when you pair it up like this, there should be n number of n, the 2a plus n minus 1d, there will be n times of this, right? So it means it will be n times with 2a plus n minus 1d. And finally, to get your Sn, you just move the 2. Now you will get n over 2, big bracket 2a plus n minus 1d. So this is how you prove the SN formula. And if you look at this formula, it looks exactly the same as this, right? So this is how you prove. Okay. Okay, I think I will want to make this smaller because I need space to, oh, so let's make this smaller. Okay, now I will do the second question. I'll do it here. So soalan B. Okay, let's read the question first. Zaki Bakery has sold 400 cakes on the first week. So first week. On the second week, the sale has decreased by 8 cakes. This is the second week until the 7th week. Okay, I think I can write down my progression. First week is 400 cakes. And then for my second week, it decreased by 8. So what is 400 minus 8? So we use calculator. Okay, my calculator give me 392, right? So this is the second week. Second week sales, right? 392. So this is the second week. And then what about the third week? It will minus 8 also, right? So you press calculator, you're gonna get 384, right? And it will keep decreasing until the 7th week. Because it says here, okay, this one is the third week. And this one is the second week, right? Second week. Okay, and then it keeps decreasing until the 7th week. So when it reaches the 7th week, what do you think will be the sales? Well, you can use the TN formula to find, right? The A plus M minus 1D formula. But let's see what they want first, okay? Okay, so this one is the first week. Okay, let's keep reading the question first. On the following week, okay, let's read from the beginning. Zaki Bakery has sold 400 cakes on the first week, okay? On the second week, the sale had decreased by 8 cakes, all right? So decrease until the 7th week. So it keep decreasing minus 8 until 7th week. On the following week means the 8th week, due to the promotion, the sale has increased by 100% compared to the previous week. By using the formula given in 8A, which is the SN, calculate the number of cakes that have been sold starting from the first week until the promotion week. It means until 8th week lah. Okay, so what happens here? From the first week to the 7th week, the number keeps minus 8, minus 8, minus 8, minus 8. But the 8th week, it never decreased. It increased by 100%, right? Okay, what does it mean by increase 100%? It means you times 2 lah. Increase by 100% means you times 2. Okay, it means the 7th week punya sales times 2. Why I cakap macam tu? Because when you darab dengan 100%, right? It means you darab dengan 100 over 100, right? Then what you get when you darab 100 over 100 means you darab 1, right? It means that it will increase the amount same as your previous amount. It means you are taking this amount plus with this amount, means you are taking the amount times 2. Okay? Tapa, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, it's fine. I'll explain now. All right. So I think first thing first is to get the T7 first, right? Because if I don't get my T7, I will not know the 8-week sales, right? I need to get my T7, then only I know increase 100% is how much for the 8th week. So how to find T7? Let's find out my A and D first. A is 400, D is -8 because every time you minus 8. So what is T7? It will be which formula? A plus M minus 1D. So 400 plus N minus 1, which is 6 times with D. This is the TN formula. Now we press calculator. 400 minus 48. Okay. 400 minus 48. Okay, I get 352. Okay. So 352 is not the answer. It's not the answer. This is just the 7th week punya sales, right? So what do you think is the 8th week? The 8th week will be 352 times with 100%, right? Which is 352 times 100 over 100. But you already know you will get 352, right? But you don't tell me the 8th week is 352. The 8th week will be 352 plus 352, or you can say 352 times 2, right? So because increase 100% means times 2 lah. So what is 352 times 2? You can press calculator, you get 704. Okay. So this 704 is the 8th week. But they want us to find the number of cakes that will be sold starting from first week until the promotion week. So I think first you need to find the S7 lah, right? S7, because the total sales from first week until 7th week will be S7, right? You cannot straight away find S8 because the 8th week something happened already, right? Instead of decrease, the 8th week increase. So I think you have to find it. You have to find S7 separately and then find the T8 separately and then plus them together. You cannot straight away find S8, right? Because for the 8th term, it never decreased by 8. It increased instead. So yeah, that's why I'll find S7. And what is the formula? This one, the SN formula. So it'll be N over 2. So 7 over 2, big bracket, 2A. The A is 400 plus N minus 1, which is 6. And then the D is -8. And then now we just press this whole thing and see what we get. 2 times 400 is 800. and then minus 48, and then times 7 divided 2. Okay, my calculator give me 2632, right? But this is not the answer. This is just the sum of the first 7 week. So this is the sale for the first 7 week all add together. So they want to find number of cakes until the first promotion week. So what is the total? So I will just write here number of cakes that have been sold starting. So it will be total would be 2632 plus with what? Plus with 704, right? Right? And how we get the 704? By taking 352 times 2, right? That's how we get the 704. Okay, or you can also say 352 times 100%, and then take the final answer plus with 352 again, right? So this is how you do it. Okay, let's press calculator. 2632 plus 352 times 2 ataupun plus 704, you get 3336. So this is the sales, right? Hey, actually it's not sales lah. Okay lah, it's sales, but it's not RM actually. This is the number of cake. So I don't think you have to write the RM because it represents number of cakes. So yeah, that's the answer. Okay, let's continue with number 9. Okay, number 9, what chapter is this? I think it's differentiation, right? Because you see the word normal here, and then yeah, it's differentiation. Let's read the question. Given that the equation of curve y equals to 2x squared plus x plus 1. Okay, so soalan A says find the equation of normal to the curve at point 211. Okay, very easy. This one is differentiation. So differentiation got how many types of question that will come out? Okay, the first type of question is they will ask you tangent normal, right? Where they ask you to find gradient tangent, gradient normal, ataupun equation tangent, equation normal. Second type of question where they ask you to find minimum or maximum point, ataupun turning point. And then third type of question is they will ask you to find rate of change, ROC, rate of change, kadar perubahan. And then the fourth type is small change. Small change means perubahan kecil. This one we will use the symbol delta. And then the fifth type of question is the limit. Okay, they will ask you limit, right? So this one, obviously, soalan A, they want you to do is the first type of question, right? Is the type 1 question where they ask you to find equation normal. If you want to find equation normal, you need to find gradient normal first. But how to find gradient normal? Do you remember how I teach this in class? When we have an equation, all right, and we have a x coordinate, how do we find our gradient tangent? First, we will do dy dx. After we do dy dx, we'll get something here, and this thing we'll call it gf, which is gradient function. But gradient function, how to convert gradient function to gradient tangent? By taking the x coordinate, substitute inside, right? Once you take those x coordinate, substitute inside gf, then you will get a value here, and this value we call it mt, right? But how to convert mt to mn? Mn means gradient normal. What you will do is you will terbalik and tukar tanda. Terbalik and tukar tanda. Why terbalik? Why can terbalik tukar tanda? Because tangent and normal is always perpendicular. So if they are perpendicular means the m1 times m2 equals to -1, right? And it means you will use this formula. But I usually teach using shortcut where I just tell students you just terbalik the number and tukar tanda. For example, let's say this one is 3 over 4. You just terbalik tukar tanda become -4 over 3, right? And then when you take this value and times with this value, you will really get -1. Okay. But anyway, I will show you later using the question. Now I'm just giving you the notes. After you get your gradient tangent, gradient normal, now you can find your equation. And when you find your equation, there is 2 ways to find your equation. You can use this formula, y minus y1 equals gradient x minus x1, which I will do later. But you can also use another formula, which is y equals mx plus c, right? And then the m you will ganti with gradient tangent. Okay, depending on what you want lah. If you want equation tangent, then you put the gradient tangent inside the m. But if you want equation of normal, then of course you put gradient normal inside here. And then for the c, you just substitute with this point, right? But you have to make sure you kena ada x and y. But if they only give you x and tak bagi y, what you can do is you take the x coordinate, masuk dalam original equation, and then keluar balik. Find the y coordinate if they never give you the y coordinate, right? But I can see this point, this question, they already give you the full coordinate. So you don't have to do that. So first thing first, do dy dx. And then the dy dx will give you the gf. So what is the gf? 4x plus 1. 2 times 2 is 4, and then power minus 1. And then differentiate x is just the number in front, so 1. And then differentiate 1 is 0. So what do we call this? We call this gf. What is gf? Gradient function. Ataupun sometimes we call it gradient curve. But I don't want gradient function, I want gradient tangent now, right? Oh, by the way, you cannot go from dy dx to gradient normal. It's just impossible. You have to it has to go through gradient tangent first, right? Look at the flow of this thing. It has to, dy dx is always, kawan baik, dy dx is always gradient tangent, right? You have to go to gradient tangent, then only there's ada jalan tukar jadi gradient normal. So how do we find gradient tangent? Is by substituting the x value, and they already said the equation to the curve at point 211, right? So it means that this is the curve, this is the tangent, and the tangent point is 211, and the normal also got passes through this point, right? Normal means the one yang perpendicular dengan tangent, right? So the gradient tangent will be 4x plus 1, ganti with 2, you'll get 9. So since your gradient tangent is normal, now can I find my gradient normal? Yes. How to find? They are perpendicular, right? So mt times mn equals to -1, and your gradient tangent is 9. So your gradient normal, you can find now, it will be -1/9. And now you have your gradient normal. Now you can find your equation, but you will use with this formula, y minus y1 equals gradient x minus x1. Or you can use the y equals mx plus c formula, can also, right? Up to you. Okay, the gradient normal is -1/9. I'm finding equation normal. So of course I will use the gradient normal. Okay, if I put gradient tangent 9 here, then I'm finding equation of tangent, then it's wrong already. Okay, so make sure you don't put the wrong gradient here. And then for here and here, you will put the x coordinate and the y coordinate, which is 211. So 2 is the x coordinate, so it will be -2 here. 11 is the y coordinate, -11. So now you just expand this, it will be -1/9x, minus jadi plus 2/9, and then finally dot dot dot, y equals -1/9x. -11 can move here, become plus, and then you press calculator lah. 2/9 plus 11, 101/9, right? So plus 101/9. This is the answer, right? Okay, now we can continue with the B question. Okay, the B working, I'll do it here. All right, let's read the question. Hence, find the coordinates of points such that normal meets the curve again. Wait, what does it mean, man? Normal meets the curve again. Okay, let's look at the diagram I draw earlier. This is the curve. This is the tangent, right? Tangent means it touches the curve at one point, is 211. And the 211 is the tangent point. And then this is the normal, right? Normal will be always 90 degree with tangent. And then they say what? Find the coordinates of points such that the normal meets the curve again. It means if I extend this normal line, this line we call it normal line. So if you expand this line, it will touch the curve again, right? So I think what they want you to find is the coordinate of this point, right? So we don't know the point, we call it xy. So find the coordinate of points such that the normal meets the curve. Means I'm finding this point lah. So how do we find this point? Well, I think you have to do simultaneous, right? Because you are finding intersection point of normal line and the curve. So I think you just need to take your curve equation and normal line and do simultaneous, and you will get two answers. First answer is 211, and the other answer, that will be the one I want, right? So how do I have my curve equation and normal equation? Yes, my curve equation is this one, y equals to 2x squared plus x plus 1. That is the curve equation. And then do I have my normal line equation? Yes, -1/9x plus 101/9. And then this is equation 1, this is equation 2, and then I do simultaneous. Why I do simultaneous? Because that's how you find intersection point. Whenever you find intersection point and you have both equation, you will do simultaneous, right? But I'm so sure that I will get two answers because there's two intersection point. One is at 211, right? But I want the other one, right? Because they ask you to find coordinate of point when the normal meets the curve again, means the other one, right? Takkanlah dia suruh cari yang dia sudah bagi dalam soalan, right? Mestilah they want me to find the other one, right? So how you do now is, since both is already y single, you can write like this, y equals to y. And then now you will just use substitution method lah. So you become 2x squared plus x plus 1 equals to -1/9x plus 101/9. Okay, I don't like it when there's fraction, so I will just take everything times 9 because I want the fraction to hilang. So now it becomes 18x squared plus 9x plus 9 equals to -x plus 101. Okay, so I just take everything times 9 lah. So now my equation don't have fraction. Now I can just move everything to one side equals 0, and then I will get a quadratic. So minus x jadi plus, 9 plus 1 is 10x, and then 101 jadi minus. So 9 minus 101 is -92, right? So -92 equals 0. And then don't forget, before you press your calculator, if all these numbers can simplify, you should simplify. Simplify means you can kecilkan, right? So all these numbers can divide by 2, I think. So when you divide by 2, you get 9x squared. Divide by 2, you get 5x. 92 divide 2, what do you get? Let's press calculator. Okay, I think I get -46. So yeah, this is 46. And then now you can press calculator and get two answer. Okay. Hey, wait, why got two answer? I mentioned already, because got two intersection point. That's why I got two answers lah. Okay. Okay, let's press calculator. So what is your A? 9. What is your B? 5. What is your C? -46. So I hope you know how to press. The calculator give me 2 and -23 over 9. So the first answer is 2. The other answer is -23 over 9. So what you write atas here, bracket equals 0. If x is 2, you write x minus 2. If x is -23 over 9, you write x plus 23, and then the 9 have to put in front, right? So which one is the x coordinate you want? Do you want the 2 or the one the -23 over 9? Which one do you want? -23 over 9, right? This one is the one I want. This is the answer I want. Because they already said here, find the coordinates of points such that normal meets the curve again. So we already know that the normal will meet the curve at 211, right? I want the other one, all right? So this is the one I will use to find the y coordinate. So what I will do is I'll substitute this back inside my equation, and you can choose which equation you want to substitute. Either one will give you the same answer. If you choose the any equation here also, you get the same answer. Let's use this one lah. Okay, let's use this one lah. So y equals to 2x squared plus x plus 1. So this will be -23 over 9. This will be -23 over 9, right? If you want to use this equation, can also. You can do it yourself. You will get the same answer. Okay, now you press calculator. Just press all of this inside. Okay, let me press 2 bracket -23 over 9 close bracket square, and then minus bracket 23 over 9, and then close bracket, and then plus 1. Okay, my calculator give me 932 over 81. So that is my y coordinate lah. So what is the intersection point? Bracket -23 over 9, comma 932 over 81, right? So this is the answer. So read the question carefully. Find the coordinates of points such that the normal meets the curve again. So yeah, this is the point, right? The 2, you will not use the 2 because if you guarantee 2 here, you will get 11. You will get this point. You will get this point, right? The 2, 11, right? But they don't want you to find this point. They want to find another point when the normal meets the curve again, right? So this is the correct answer. Okay. So got negative, huh? Okay, let's continue with number 10. This is integration. So let's read the question. Diagram 3 shows the curve y equals fx and y equals gx. Which one is fx? This one, right? The curve. And then which one is gx? The straight line. So the straight line is gx, and then the curve is fx. And they give me a point here is 1, 2, right? Okay, let's read the question. Okay, the question says the curve y equal fx and the straight line gx intersects at OPQ. So one intersection point at 0, 0, another intersection point at 1, 2. So it means this is 1 lah. Okay, and then it means when I butcher here, it would be 2, right? And then there's another intersection Q, but I don't have the coordinate of this point. And then they says area of shaded region is 1502. Okay, let's write this down. Area of shaded region is 1502. Let's convert this into improper fraction because I don't like when my fraction is like this. I always convert to like this. So it will be 12 times 1 plus 5. It will be 17 over 12. But this one is the shaded region A punya area, which is this area. And then now it says find the value of integrate 0, 1 fx dx. Okay, let's not find this first. Let's not look at this first. Let's look at this information first. Can we convert this information to integration? Yes, because this information is area and you can use integration to find area. But this is area of shaded region A. So how do you convert to integration? It will be integrate dx or dy. So the first contact point is here, the last contact point is here. And if you look at these two contact point, you tarik towards x or tarik towards y. Tarik towards x because your shaded region is in between the curve and the x-axis. So you will write dx. And if it's dx here must be y. And what will be the number here? You tarik from 0 to 1. So 1 atas, 0 bawah. And what equation you will put for your y? Will you put fx or gx? Of course, it's fx because it's from curve tarik. If you write gx, means you are taking area of triangle only. But it's not just triangle, right? The shaded region including here also. So it means you are from the curve tarik towards x-axis. So it's actually the fx here, right? And now only you will look at the question. Now only you look at the question. So what it wants? Integrate 0, 1 fx dx. Okay, you already know integrate 1, 0 fx dx is 17 over 12. So what is integrate 0, 1 fx dx? Negative 17 over 12 lah. Why? Because you can actually terbalikkan this number. When you terbalikkan, you have to add a negative here, right? That is why it becomes negative, and then integrate 1, 0 fx dx is 17 over 12, right? And you learn this in Form 5, Chapter 3, integration. There is a part called properties of definite integral. Properties of definite integral. And there is 5 properties, right? And you need to have out all of it, right? The first one is like, if you have integrate k f x dx, and then the k can put in front, right? That's the first property. And then second property is like, when you have AB fx dx, you can terbalik become BA fx dx, but you have to put negative. Okay, which is this one. And then the third property is like when you have integrate fx plus gx plus minus gx dx, you can split it, become integrate. Let's say this one is AB. And then this one will become integrate AB fx dx plus minus integrate AB gx dx. Okay, here I have to write dx. And then there's another one where it's like, if I give you integrate AB fx dx plus with integrate CA fx dx, you can combine, become integrate CB fx dx. Because when you have two integration tambah, and the number here and number here same, and the inside same, you can cut, and then left with CA. And then the final property is when you have integrate AA fx dx, it will be 0. It means that when this number same, the whole thing will be 0. So all these 5 property lah, okay? Okay, my handwriting very messy, but yeah. But this question, you only need the second property, right? So, okay lah, I won't erase lah, just leave it here. Okay, let's continue with question number 2. Number 2, you will use which property? Integrate 103 fx minus k dx. Obviously, you will use you will use this property, right, where you separate it. But I write it it's very hard to see because my handwriting is so ugly. So let me just write one more time for you lah. Okay, so the third property is like this lah. It's like this. When you integrate, like say AB, and then here is fx plus minus gx dx. You can split this, become integrate AB fx dx plus minus integrate AB gx dx. This is the property. It means when you have integrate some dalam ada dua term, you can separate it like this, right? But when you separate it, you have to follow whatever symbol here lah. If it's plus, here plus. If here minus, here minus. And the number also have to be the same. AB, AB, here also AB, right? So let's apply this property to solve this question. So what happens when you separate this? There's 2 terms here. So it becomes integrate 103 fx dx. Okay, usually students forget to write this dx. So make sure you write it and then minus. Why minus? Because I follow this minus, right? And then integrate 10k dx equals to 12. You don't have to write the minus again here already, because the minus you already write in front here. Okay. And then the 3, you can bring it to the front. All right. I already explained in my first property, if you got number here, you can bring it to the front. And why I bring it to the front? So that later the integrate 10 fx dx, I can letak 17 over 12. Right. So this one, it will be 317 over 12 later. Right. And it will be 17 over 4. Okay, but it's not over yet. You still have to minus with this. Okay, this one you don't have, you will just integrate yourself, right? Because you only know you only know the integrate 10 fx dx is 17 over 12. That is why this one you can substitute. But this one is integrate 10k dx, and you can't use this information to help you. So you have to integrate yourself. How to integrate? Integrate k will be integrate kx, and then to top bracket 10 equals 12. Okay, I see some students make this mistake. When they integrate k, they will write like this: k squared over 2. This one wrong lah. This one, if integrate x, then only you can write integrate x squared over 2, right? But if you integrate k, k is like a constant, right? So when you integrate number, you just tambah x, right? Okay, so remember the x is the variable here, right? So yeah, this is the correct way. And then now you will substitute 1, substitute 0, and then tengah-tengah minus. Okay, when you substitute 1 inside the x, it will be 1k, so k lah. And then when you substitute 0, 0 times k is 0 equals to 12. And then you will end up with k minus 0, which is k equals to 12. So how do you find your k? Well, just pindah, right? So negative k, when you move here, become positive. And then 12, when you move there, become minus. Let's press calculator. What is 17 over 4 minus 12? Negative 31 over 4. So you will write your k equals to negative 31 over 4. So that's the answer for the A2 question, right? So I think that's all. Now we can proceed. We can continue with B. Okay, this B question 1 mark only. Okay, let's see what they want. Given the area of shaded region A is represented by this, find equation of fx. Wait, let's go to area of A. So this one, right? So let's see. Okay, we already know area of shaded region A is this one, right? Integrate 10 fx dx 17/12. So what is this then? Okay, so this is big bracket x power 4/4 minus 4/3 x power 3 plus 5/2 x squared tutup bracket 10. Okay, I think I understand now. This is actually after you integrate. Yeah, after you integrate. Because if you look carefully at this, we actually don't have the fx equation, right? We don't have the fx equation. We only have the area, and the fx equation we don't have, right? But then suddenly in the B question, they say that after you integrate, it will look like this, right? So now how to find your equation of fx? Well, it's pretty easy. You just differentiate this. Because when you differentiate this, you will get the equation, right? Because this one is after integrate. After you integrate, you will end up like this. So if you want to get before, the step before this is you differentiate this. How do you differentiate? Take power times with the number in front and then power minus 1. But before that, I will write this a little bit differently. X power 4/4 is actually what? 1/4 x power 4, right? It's the same thing, but I will tell you why I write like this. Because it's easier to differentiate. So you will take power times with number and then power minus 1. So 4 times 1/4, it's 1. So it'll be x power 3. Okay? I just differentiate. And then minus here also minus. Same thing here. I differentiate this. 3 times 4/3. The 3 cut already. Left with 4. And then power minus 1 is 2. Okay? And then one more time. 2 times 5/2. 2 cut. So left with 5x. Power minus 1 is 1. Right? And then you don't have to write plus c. Because if the integration is definite integral, you don't have to write plus c. So this is your answer. Okay? Let me explain one more time. The one they write here is after you integrate. They want before integrate. That is why you will just differentiate. You differentiate this to get back, right? Of course, if you don't believe me, you can try to integrate this. You will really get x power 4/4. And then this one you get negative 4x power 3/3. Integrate this 5x power 2/2. Okay? And the 1, 0, you just ignore it. You don't have to look at that, right? So that's the answer. This is how you find the equation. Okay, let's do number 11. I think this is permutation and combination chapter. So let's read the question. A team of 6 students will be formed. So 6 students will be formed to participate in the state level STEM carnival. The establishment of the team will be chosen from 7 male students and 5 female. So we have 7 male, 5 female. Total is 12 lah. Find the number of different ways to form the team if female students must exceed male students. Well, we are forming 6 students, right? So 6 students, it means you either end up with 6 male, 0 female, or it can be 5 male, 1 female, or maybe 4 male, 2 female, right? You want to cukupkan 6, or maybe 3 male, 3 female, or maybe 2 male, 4 female, or maybe 1 male, 5 female, or maybe 0 male, 6 female. So these are all the possibilities, right? But you don't have to do all of it, right? If you do all of it, you're just wasting your time. They only want you to find female exceed male. So you will only do female exceed male, which is this one, and this one, right? Because all this, the male exceed female, right? This one male exceed female. This one cannot, okay? Because this one the female never exceed male. They want female exceed male, so it's either 4 female, 2 male, or 5 female, 1 male, or 6 female, 0 male, right? But since we only have 5 female students, this is not possible. If you do this one, you will get math error. So it means you can actually cancel out this one, right? So you just do 2 male, 4 female, and 1 male, 5 female. So let's write down here. 2 male, 4 female, and then ataupun 1 male, 5 female, right? Okay, how to get the number of ways for 2 male, 4 female? So there are 7 male students. You're only choosing 2, so 7C2 times with 5 female, but I'm choosing 4, right? That's how you do it. And then what about this one? Same thing lah. 1 male, choose from 7, so 7C1. And then this one 5 female, choosing from 5, so 5C5, and then times. And then tengah-tengah plus. And then just press all this in your computer, and you should get the answer. 7C2 times 5C4 plus 7C1 times 5C5. Okay, my calculator gives me 112. So that's the answer for this question, right? Why not I plus with the 0 male, 6 female? Okay, if you plus with this, you will get math error, right? Because how you write this? You will write 7 male, choose 0, so 7C0, right? And this 5 female will be 5 female, choose 6. And guess what? When you press this, you get math error, right? That's why, because this is not possible. It's not possible to choose 6 female from 5 female. That's why I just erase this, right? Even if you press also, the calculator will give you math error. Okay, so this is how you get 2 marks. Okay, question number 2. At least 4 selected male students. Okay, which one? Which one is at least 4 male? At least 4 male. At least 4 male. This one, and this one, right? At least 4 male means sekurang-kurangnya 4 male. Means cannot less than 4 male. It has to be 4 male or more than 4 male. So it's 4 male, 5 male, 6 male. So let's write down 4 male, 2 female. So there will be how many ways? 7 male total. I have to choose 4 times with 5 total female, choose 2. And then the next one is 5 female, 1 male. Sorry, 5 male, 1 female. Sorry. And then same thing, 7 male, so 7C5, total 5 female, choose 1, so 5C1 times together. And then the last one is 4 male, 2 female, but the total male got 7, so 7C4 times with 5 female, choose 2, so 5C2, and then plus together. So this one is 4 male, 2 female. And then just press the whole thing, and then you will get your calculator. Okay, let me press 7C4 times 5C2 plus 7C5 times 5 plus 7C4 times 5C2. Wait. I think I pressed wrong. Let me press again. This one is 7C4, then 7C6. Okay, I made a mistake. Okay, this one is not 4 male, 2 female, because 4 male, 2 female, I do it here already. So this one is 6 male, 0 female. So this is actually 7C6 times 5 female, C0. Okay, I see that place, right? Because I write the same thing 2 times. Okay, so it's actually this one plus this one plus this one. Okay, let me press again. 7C4 times 5C2 plus 7C5 times 5C1 plus 7 times 1. Okay, my calculator give me 462. So that is the answer, right? It means there's 462 ways to choose if you want at least 4 male. Okay. All right. For my B question, let's read. Diagram 4 shows the route for an object. The object can only move up or to the right. So it's either move up or to the right. Find the number of routes for the object to move from A to B. So this is the starting point and I have to go here. So from here, go to here, but I can only move up or move right. So how many ways there is? Okay, let's think about this. If I want to go from A to B, there's a lot of ways, right? Of course, you can go like this, like this, like this, like this. Remember, you can only move up and right. So this is one way, right? Or maybe you can go like this, like this, like this, like that also can, right? Or maybe like this, like this, like this. So there's a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways, right? If we keep drawing one by one, I think until tomorrow also, you can't finish all the possibilities because there's too many. So what we will do is we will use permutation and combination instead. And let me tell you, you will use combination. Okay, let me show you why. Okay, you will do it separately. First, you will calculate number of ways from point A to this point first. All right, because in order to go from A to B, you must reach here first, right? Then only from here to here. So I will calculate number of ways from A to this point. How to know from here to this point got how many ways? Okay, let me tell you. From A to here, there's a lot of ways. You can go like this. One, because you can only move up and right, right? So let's say I move right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2. So this is one of the way you can move. It means you're moving 4 to the right and then 2 up. So let's write this in the translation punya format. So 4, 2 like that. But you can also go macam mana? Okay. Let's think about this. It means you can either move like this, where you move right 4 unit and then move up 2, right? But you can also go like this. Go up first and then go up and then go like this. Can also, right? It means you can also go up 2 and then go right 4, right? Or maybe something like this. Like this, like this, like this. It means you go up 1, okay, go up 1 and then go to the right 4 and then go up 1. It means in total you will go up 2. So do you realize Doesn't matter which route I take, I will end up going right 4 kotak and then go up 2 kotak. Doesn't matter which route I take. Let's say I take like this. Okay, no, like this, like this, like this, like this, right? So let me erase all this. Okay. Let's say I take this route. Let's say I take this route. Like this, okay, like this, and then like this, and then like this, like this, like this. Can you see? I will end up taking 1 up, 2 up, and then 4 right, right? Which is same as going here, 4 right, 2 up. And it's also same with here. It means it doesn't matter which route I take, I will always end up with 4 to the right and 2 ke atas. Betul tak? Okay. Let's try one more example to make you understand. Why not? Why? Let's say I go like this, and then like this, and then like this, and then like this. Can you see it's also 4 kanan? You see 1, 2, 3, 4. You see 4 to the right, and then 2 atas. It means doesn't matter which route you take, you will end up with 4. You will end up moving 4 towards right, and then 2 upwards, right? So 4 to the right, and then 2 atas. So it means in total, how many blocks you are moving? 6, right? From here to here, doesn't matter which route you take, you have to move 6 kotak in total. Whether it's going from here to here or here to here, you end up with 6 kotak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you go here, also 6. Even if you move like this, like this, like this, you will also need to pass through 6 blocks, right? And so what you will do is you will do 6 C4, all right? Because it means that out of the 6 blocks, you have to C4 because there is because doesn't matter which route you take, there will be 4 kanan, 4 blocks that you have to go kanan, and then times with 2C2. Do you understand? Because doesn't matter which route you take, you will end up going total 6, how to say, 6 block. You have to go 6 block, and out of the 6 block, there will be definitely 4 ke kanan and then 2 ke atas, right? I already show you just now. Doesn't matter which way you take, you will end up doesn't matter which route, you will end up with 4 blocks ke kanan and then 2 block ke atas. It means you will do like that lah. The total number of ways, it will be 6 C4 times 2 C2, right? Of course, you can also do like that. 6 C2 times 4 C4 can also. This one and this one will give you the same answer, right? But anyways, don't forget to continue from here, because here also until you reach here, you also have to do the same thing, right? So same thing here. From here to here, you will go how many blocks from here to here? You need to sampai here to here. You have to go how many you need? So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 to the right, and then you have to go up 3, right? Go up 3. It means in total you have to move 7. In total you have to move 7, 4, 3, like that. Or maybe you can go like this also can, right? Like this also. But if you count like this also, it will end up moving 7. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And guess what? It will also be ke kanan 4, ke atas 3. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then ke atas 1, 2, 3. It will be the same. Yeah, it will be the same. It doesn't matter which route you take. Let's say I take this route. Let's say I take a route like this, 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 like this. Okay, like this. So how many kotak do you think? It will be 7 also. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You see, and it will also be ke kanan 4, ke atas 3. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4 ke kanan 1. See, it doesn't matter which route you take, you will end up with 7. You have to move 7 times, and it will be 4 ke kanan, and then 3 ke atas. It means the total number of ways here will be 7C4, right? Because it will be 7. It doesn't matter which route you take, it will be 7. You have to move 7 times, and out of the 7 times, there will be 4 times. 4 of it will be the ke kanan one, and then the other, and then 3 times 3C3 lah. Of course, you can write 7C3 times 4C4 also can, right? And then tengah-tengah you have to times, right? Okay, some of you will think, bukan plus sini. Okay, actually you have to times, because it's actually when you reach here to here, this is not the, how to say, if you write plus, it means or. Okay, so this one is actually n, because you are actually moving here to here and here to here. So actually you have to multiply them, right? Multiply them, because these are not separate events. They are like together one, because from A to B. So that's why you have to take the number of ways here and number of ways here, times them, not plus. You have to times, right? So now it's time to press calculator. 6C4 times 7C4, right? Okay, the answer give me 525, right? So that is the answer, right? Okay, so I hope you understand my explanation just now, lah. So remember, it's times, not plus. Because if you plus means, it means this is a new event. But actually, they are the same event, right? Is you are moving from A to B, right? You are not moving A to here or here to here. It's actually A to here and here to here. So that's why you have two times. Okay, so that's how you do it. Okay, let's continue with number 12. A participant has shoot 3 times in a training session, 3 times. Let H be the results of hitting the target. So H is hitting, and then H primes be the results of not hitting. Draw a tree diagram to show all the possible outcome. All right, I think it's very straightforward. They just want you to draw tree diagram. So if you shoot 3 times, so when you shoot for the first time, it's either you hit or you don't hit, right? Okay, let's do it. Let's do it nicely. So like this, right? So the first time when you shoot is either you hit or you don't hit, right? And then for the second time, you might hit, you might not hit, right? Same here, you might hit for the second time, or maybe you won't hit, right? And then for the third time, it will be the same thing. You might hit or you might not hit, or this one hit or not hit. Same here, you either hit or you not hit. Same here, it's either you hit or you not hit, right? And what does it mean by this? It means 3 times also you hit, right? Hit. This one is you hit the first one, you hit the second one, but the third one you not hit, right? They use the word not hitting, right? Or maybe the first one you hit, the second one does not hit, right? And then the third one you hit, right? Or maybe the first one you hit, the second one not hit, the third one also not hit, right? Or maybe the first one not hit, and then the second one and the third one you hit, right? Or maybe the first one you not hit, and then the second one you hit, and then the third one not hit. Or maybe the first one not hit, the second one not hit, and then the third one hit. Or maybe the first one not hit, the second one also not hit, the third one also not hit. All right, so these are all the possibilities. Okay. Okay, now for question number 2. It says if x represents the number of times hitting the target, show that x is a discrete random variable. What is discrete? Okay, discrete means all the x have to separate, right? It means there's no decimal point, right? They are all countable. Countable means like 0, 1, 2, 3 like that. Okay. Then what is the other word for discrete? The opposite word for this is continuous. If it's continuous, your graph will look like this. Something like this, right? It means all the points are connected, right? It means there's like points in between, right? It doesn't have to be like this, it can be straight line also, right? It means that it has to be continuous, lah. But if it's discrete, your graph will look like this. If it's discrete, it means all the points they are separated, right? And all the x value have to be countable. Countable means is either 1, 2, 3, the other fraction, decimal point macam tu. So what do you think? Is this discrete or continuous? If x represents number of times hitting the target, so number of times hitting the target, it must be discrete random variable, right? Because number of times hitting is either what? Is either you don't hit, it's 0, or maybe 1 times you hit, or 2 or 3, right? Paling besar pun sampai 3 saja. So x is a discrete random variable, and this is the answer, right? It means the number of times hitting is either 0 or 1 or 2 or 3. That's what it means. Okay. Okay, so now let's do B. B says the random variable x of 12 trials, so this is the n equals to 12, has a binomial distribution. Okay, so the moment you see the word binomial, you should know you will use the binomial punya formula lah. And how many formula you have in binomial distribution? You have 4 formulas. One formula is to find probability. And then another 3 formula is to find the mean, variance, standard deviation, the NP, NPQ, and square root NPQ, right? And you will not be looking at the jadwal, right, for this question, right? The jadwal, you only look at it when it's a normal distribution. Okay, 12 is the n, and then standard deviation is 503. So this is the symbol for standard deviation, 503. If probability of success is P, find the possible values of P. Okay, let's write down all the formulas for binomial distribution. Okay, let's write down the first formula. The first formula for probability distribution is to find probability, and the formula looks like this: NCX, P power X, Q power N minus X. Second probability for the in binomial is the mean formula, which is NP, and then the variance formula is NPQ, and then the standard deviation is square root NPQ, right? So which formula do you think you will use in this question? Of course, the standard deviation, because they mentioned standard deviation is square root 5 over 3, right? So we can use this formula. But they say find the possible values of p, right? Okay, let's use the standard deviation formula first and see what happens. So it will be square root npq equals to square root 5 over 3. So n times p times q, it will be 12 times p, but the p I don't have, right? I need to find. And then the q also I don't have, but we all know q is actually 1 minus p, right? Because the probability, total probability must always be 1. So the p and q add together is 1. And that's why you can write 1 minus p. So I think if you pina like this, you can find your p value. But from the question, you should know already the p got more than one answer because they say values, right? So let's try and find both answer. Okay, first thing first, you can hilangkan square root. How to hilangkan? You will square both sides. So when you square both sides, the square root and square can cut, square root and square can cut. So you're left with 12p times with 1 minus p, which is 12p minus 12p square, and then equals to 503. Okay, because this one is like times, all these three things have to times together. That's why you end up with this. And since you nampak other square means this is quadratic, so you move everything to one side equals 0. But I will move everything to the right side so that my a is positive. So it will be 12p square minus 12p plus 503. And since other fraction, I will take everything times 3, so it becomes 36p square minus 36p plus 5, right? So even though it's on the right side, but I still can factorize, right? Okay, let's press calculator. So what is the A? 36. What's the B? Negative 36. What's the C? 5. Okay, my calculator give me 5 over 6 and 1 over 6. It means both answer you have to include because the question already says got two answer, right? So this is 6p minus 5. This one is 6p minus 1. So the question says just now, find possible values. So it means both this p value you have to include. Okay, sudah siap. Okay, now we are at bahagian B. Bahagian B, they will give you 3 questions. Bahagian ini mengandungi 3 soalan, jawab 2 soalan. But I will jawab all 3 questions. Okay, I'll jawab all of it because I'm doing this video for revision purpose. So obviously, I will do all of it. But in exam, you only choose 2 lah. Okay, okay, let's read the question. 13A, solve the simultaneous equation. This one, this one. Okay, first of all, if we look at this equation, we can simplify. Okay, how do we simplify this? 3 power 4x times, okay, if you look at this, base 3, this one is 1 over 9, this one 81. So 3, 9, and 81. 3, 9, and 81. These numbers, these are all base 3 numbers. Do you agree? So why not we change everything to base 3, right? To simplify everything. So what is 9? 9 is 3 power 2, right? But since the 9 duduk bawah, you have to put negative, right? And then don't forget the whole thing still have to power y minus 1 equals to 81 is 3 power 4, right? And after you write like this, you can simplify further. How you simplify? Okay, if the power is side by side like this, you will take the power times them together. So negative 2 times y is negative 2y, and then negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. And you can write the 2 in front also if you want. And then equals to 3 power 4. And if you have two numbers with same base, direct, what you do with the power, you plus them together. So it becomes 4x plus 2 minus 2y equals to 3 power 4, right? Of course, you have to put bracket here, right? But even if you put the bracket, after you open the bracket, it will be the same thing, right? That is why it's fine. If you don't want to put the bracket, it's correct also, okay? But if if outside bracket is minus, then you have to be careful. Okay, sampai sini apa boleh buat? You can compare. Okay, what do I mean by compare? It means both side is already same base, right? Can you see this one is base 3, this one is base 3, so both same base, right? It means the power should be same also. It means 4x plus 2 minus 2y can equal 4. Okay, and now you can how to say, you can get your first equation already. So 4x minus 2y, I think the 2 you can move it there. 4 minus 2 you'll get 2, right? So this is your first equation, right? But if you look at carefully at this equation, you can actually simplify this, right? You can divide everything by 2. So let's do that. Divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. So this is your equation 1, right? 2x minus 1 equals 1. Now let's go to my second equation, which is 8 power x divide 2 power y equals 64. Okay, look at all these numbers. Base 8, base 2, base 64. So these are all numbers that can change to base 2. Do you agree? So why not we change everything to base 2? Okay. So 8 is actually 2 power 3. So it will become 2 power 3 and then power x, which is 2 power 3x. So let's straight away write 2 power 3x, right? Means the 3 have to times with the x. So it's actually 2 power 3x. Divide 2 power y equals to 64, which is 2 power 6, right? 2 power 6 is 64. Okay, if you have two numbers, same base, divide, what you do with the power? You minus. So it'll be 3x minus y equals to 2 power 6. And then same thing you do with just now. When you have two sides, same base, the base is same already, means the power will be same also. So 3x minus y equals 6. So this is your second equation. Okay, so let's call this my equation. Now we do simultaneous. Okay, simultaneous got how many method? Two method. You can do substitution, you can do elimination. But I think you can do elimination. Actually, you want to do substitution also can. All right, it's up to you. You will get the same answer. But I will do elimination because I saw that the negative y and the negative y is already, the coefficient is already same, right? And also it's already arranged nicely, xy number, xy number. So I will do elimination. So I will take equation 2 and equation 1. So equation 2 is 3x minus y equals 6. Equation 1 is 2x minus y equals 1. And to make the y disappear, to eliminate the y, you will minus. Okay. If the tanda sama, minus. If tanda tak sama, you plus. Okay. So 3x minus 2x is 1x. Negative y minus minus jadi plus. So negative y plus y will be 0. And then 6 minus 1 is 5. Right. And then when x equals 5, you will substitute this back into equation 1 ataupun equation 2 to get y value. So let's see. Let's say I ganti into equation 1. 2x minus y equals 1. This one is 5. And your y will be 10 minus 1, which is 9. So dot dot dot. X equals 5. Y equals 9. Right. So that's answer. Okay, moving on. Question B. Diagram 5 shows isosceles triangle ABC. So this is isosceles. It means this side and this side must be same length lah. Isosceles ma. And then given that BA is BC. Okay, this one I know already. I even label already. And then they say M is the midpoint of AC. So can I find the half of this? Yes, right. Just take 4 plus 6 square root 5 divide 2. You will get 2 plus 3 square root 5. This one also 2 plus 3 square root 5. Okay, let me show the working here. You will take 4 plus 6 square root 5 divide 2, right? Divide 2. But you cannot cut first because if tengah-tengah ada plus, you cannot cut. You can only cut when it's a times relation. So what you do is you will take out 2 here. So 4 and 6 can divide by 2, right? You will left with 2 plus 3 square root 5. Then only you can cut. Because now it's times relation. So it's 2 plus 3 square root 5. That is why this one and this one is 2 plus 3 square root 5. Now it says find tangent BAC. So they never ask you to find BAC. They just find tangent BAC in the form of this one. So your final answer should look like this. With A, B, and C are positive integer. So how to find tangent BAC? Soka toa. Toa, tangent. It means I have to take toa, opposite divide adjacent. But let's find out where is the angle BAC first. BAC is here, right? So this is the angle. But you also have to make sure the angle is inside the right angle triangle. Then only you can use the TOA. Because if it's not inside the right angle, you cannot determine your opposite adjacent hypotenuse. So can you see the right angle? I can see it, but can you see it? It's this one, right? This is the right angle. You cannot use the big one. The big one is not a right angle. The big one is the isosceles. This is the right angle. Because when you take an isosceles and you cut it in half, you'll get a right angle. So what is the OA, the opposite? So angle is here. So the opposite will be this line, the BM line. And you already have the panjang, 3 plus 2 square root 5, right? And then what about the adjacent? This one is the hypotenuse, right? This one is the opposite, and the adjacent must be this one. So I already find it just now. It's 2 plus 3 square root 5, right? So this is the answer, right? But why I cannot stop here? Even though I already find tangent BAC, why I cannot stop here? Because they want my answer to be in this form. So how do we convert this to this form? We have to rationalize the denominator. What is rationalize? Rationalize means we want the denominator, the bawah, to not have any square root, right? That is rationalize. So how do we rationalize? Can you see the answer they want is like this, right? The bawah tak ada square root. So you will times with the conjugate. What is the conjugate cert for this? It will be 2 minus 3 square root 5. That's how you hilangkan the square root. So, kalau bawah darab ini, atas pun kena darab benda yang sama, right? And make sure this one you open nicely the bracket like this, right? Okay, now it's time to expand, right? Okay, let's draw a line here. Let's ambil bawah darab bawah first. So what is 2 times 2? It will be 4. And then what is 2 times negative 3 square root 5? It will be negative 6 square root 5. And then plus with, okay. So 2 times 2, it will be 4. And then 2 times negative 3 square root 5 will be negative 6 square root 5. 3 square root 5 times 2 will be positive 6 square root 5. And then 3 square root 5 times negative 3 square root 5. Okay, how you darab this one? Number can only darab number, and then square root hanya boleh times with square root. So number can times with number. 3 times -3 can become -9. Square root times square root boleh, square root can only times with square root. So square root 5 times square root 5 is 5, right? And then this one, can you see, can cut, because negative square root, -6 square root 5 plus 6 square root 5 is 0. So you just left with 4 minus 9 times 5. So that's why you just write 9 times 5 here, right? And then all these you can erase, right? And then now you will do again this time, but for atas lah. So you will start from 3 times 2 first, which is 6, and then 3 times -3 square root 5. But I already said number can only times with number. Number cannot times with the number inside the square root. So the 3 can only times with -3, become -9, and then the square root of 5, nothing will happen. And then 2 square root 5 times 2, number can only times with number. So 2 can only times with 2, which is 4. And then the square root of 5, nothing will happen to the square root of 5. And then 2 square root of 5 times -3 square root of 5, how you times? Number times number, square root times square root. So 2 times -3, -6. Square root of 5 times square root of 5 is 5, right? Because when you take square root times square root, it means you take power 1 over 2 times power 1 over 2. And when you take two number, power 1 over 2, same base times, it will become power 1, right? Okay, that's why just left with 5 lah. Okay, let's press 4 minus 9 times 5 first. My calculator give me -41. Just write it down. And then number hanya boleh tolak dengan number. So what is 6 minus 6 times 5? 6 minus 30. I get -24. Just write that down. And then what about this one? -9 square root 5 plus 4 square root 5. You can jadikan square root 5 macam A. So it's actually -9A plus 4A, right? It means you will change the square root 5 to A temporarily. So if you change the square root 5 to A temporary, you will get -9A plus 4A, which is -5A. But of course, you don't write -5A, you write -5 square root 5, right? Because A is actually the square root 5. So this is your answer. But they say they want this form, which is already in this form, is already like this already, but they want A, B, and C are positive. How do we make it positive? Now it's like all negative. So how? Okay, actually this negative, if you don't like to tulis bawah, you can actually tulis atas, right? So it will become like this, right? So for example, if I give you -3 over 5, you can actually write it like this. You can also write it like this. This 3 is the same thing. It means the negative you can actually write in the middle, in the up, down also can. But you don't write like this. You don't write like this. If you write like this, then it's wrong. Because you write like this, it becomes positive already, right? So you can write up or down, right? So what I will do now is the negative yang dekat bawah, I write here. So now it will become what? It will become, when you open the bracket, it will become 24 plus 5 square root 5 over 41. So this is your answer. So all the ABC are positive integers, right? Or another way to explain is like you just bulat, and then tukar tanda. Tukar tanda for everyone. Negative jadi positive, negative jadi positive, negative jadi positive. You can also do it like this, right? And then you end up with the same answer. Okay, sudah siap. Okay, let's continue with number 14. I think this is circular measure. Okay, just from the diagram, you can tell it's circular measure. Diagram 6 shows a garden in the form of sector AOB. So this is a sector and it's also a garden. So sector means consists of two radius. So two radius must be same length. So this is R. So this must be R as well. Okay, O to A. Okay, let's see what it says. The radius and angle of sector are R meter and 2 theta respectively. So the radius is big R and then it's in meter and the angle is 2 theta. And then it says in the garden, a circular plot is to planted with roses. So I think it's mentioning this one, right? The circular plot. So what happens to the plot? It's planted with roses. So only the circle here is rose, planted with roses, right? And then it says given that the radius of plot is R meter. Plot means talking about the roses one lah. So the radius of this circle is R meter. So what I will do is I'll tarik satu line to here and write R, right? So this is the R. Okay, A says what? Show that the big R, which is the radius of the big sector, is equals to R1 plus 1 over sin theta. Okay, whenever you see the word show, it means you have to buat tak nampak this thing. Buat tak nampak. What do you mean by buat tak nampak? It means this will be the final answer. This one is the final answer. And you have to show them how to get here, right? You have to show them the working to get here, right? To prove this. It means you cannot look at this. You cannot use this as information, right? You have to buat tak nampak, right? And you have to find your big R yourself. So how do you find it? Okay, so I have to buat tak nampak, so I cannot look at this now. So I'll just cover it. So now I will just do it myself. I'll just do it here. So how do I find my big R? just by using all this information. Okay, first of all, they got mentioned here, which is the radius of the small circle is r, right? But they use small r. Huh? So if I tarik to here is r, but what if I tarik to here? It will be r also, right? But I will not tarik there. I will tarik here, right? Why I will tarik here? Because this is the tangent point, right? And then you will tarik here also. This is also tangent point. So this is r, this is r, right? And what happens if I tarik lagi satu line here? It will be r as well, right? So how do I find my big R? Okay, my big R is from because they want me to tunjukkan bahawa the big R, right? So I'm finding the big R now, not the small r. So if O to B is big R, what about O to A? Is also the big R, right? But if you want to find the big R, it's very difficult actually, because you want your big R answer to be in terms of the small r, right? So if you find using O to A and O to B, you can't find it. Actually, you cannot find your big R using the side here, right? Because if you find it like this, it's very hard to get your answer to be in terms of R. If you want your answer in terms of small r, I think you have to go from here to here. It means you will cut your sector in half, right? So let me draw it one more time nicely. Okay, let me draw it. I'll explain later, don't worry. So this one, I will draw it like this. Okay? Because this is also the big sector of R, right? So yeah, this one is also R, right? The big R. It means from O to A is the big radius, from O to B is also big radius, O to here is also the big radius, right? But don't forget, I have the radius of the circle, which is RCM. Means from here to here, actually I know it is R. So my job is to find this line now, right? Because I have this line, then I can plus with R, right? But how to find this line? Well, do you remember this is tangent point? It means this must be 90 degree. So if it's 90 degree, means how to find this? It means I'm finding the hypotenuse. Let's draw out the right angle triangle. This is the 90 degree. And then the height of the triangle is small r. Here I don't know. Here I don't know. So it's okay. Don't leave it. But I have the angle here is theta. Okay, the 2 theta is for the whole thing, right? But when you cut it in half, it will just be theta, right? So which one I want to find now? Is it this one I want to find? No, 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 no. I don't want to find this. This one will not help me. I want to find the hypotenuse. If you find this one, you have to plus with this. And how do you find this? Tak ada cara. You can't find this actually, right? So actually the only way here is to find the hypotenuse, because when you find the hypotenuse, you can plus with the small r, and then you can find your big R, and your big R answer will be in terms of small r. But if you find here, you have to plus with here, and this panjang, there's no way to, there's tak ada cara untuk cari, right? That is why the only method is to do it like this. Okay, how do I find this line, the hypotenuse? I cannot use Pythagoras theorem. So I'll call it X. I'll call it X. And then instead of using Pythagoras, you will use trigo. But will you use sine, cos, or tangent? Soka or to? Soka or to? So this is your angle. So depan angle, we call it opposite. Depan 90, we call it hypotenuse. And then the remaining one, we call it adjacent. So I'm finding my it means I'm finding the hypotenuse. And I have the opposite. So obviously you have to use sine lah. So it'll be sine theta equals opposite r over x. And don't forget I'm finding x. So what you can do is you can tukar tempat yang bahagi jadi darab, darab jadi bahagi. So it becomes r over sine theta. So this is your x punya panjang. So now this panjang you have already, right? This panjang is actually r over sine theta. R over sine theta. So what is your big R? What is your big R? It's from here to here, right? So if it's here to here, it will be r over sine theta plus with the r, right? Because r over sine theta is here to here, and then you just need to plus with r, right? But if you look at the answer, it's a bit different. It's a bit different with what you write. Okay, it means you need to factorize out the small r lah. So how you factorize? Take out the r. So when you factorize, when you take out the r, means you divide. So when you divide with the r, you will left with 1 over sine theta. And then r divide r is just 1, right? And then you can just rewrite it a bit. 1 over sine theta plus 1 is the same as 1 plus 1 over sine theta. And now you show it already. Yeah, it's the same, right? So now you can write the word shown. Okay, sudah siap. Now we do question B. Okay, question B says what? Let's read the question. So question B says, given that theta equals to 30 degree, okay, it means the whole thing here is 60 degree. Find the ratio of garden that is to be planted with roses. So which one planted with roses? the red color one. This one is planted with roses, right? So how do we know the ratio of garden that is planted with roses? So I think you need to use area to find, right? Because if you want to know the ratio of roses to the ratio of garden, you need to take area of the small circle, divide with the big area of sector, right? Then only you can get the ratio. Okay, how to get the area of circle, area of plot, right? Or you can say area of the roses lah, area of plot, because this one they call it plot, right? So let's call it plot. Okay, how to find area of plot? You will use which formula? 1/2 r square theta. Okay, that's the formula to find area of circle. Okay, let's write down all the formula for this chapter. So the first formula is arc, which is S equals r theta. Second formula is the chord formula. Chord formula is 2r sine theta over 2. And we also have area of sector formula. Area sector formula is 1/2 r square theta. And then the last formula is area of segment. The area of segment formula is 1/2 r square theta minus sine theta. So these are all the formulas that you learned in this chapter, right? So which formula you will use to find area of plot? Of course, the area of sector formula, but your radius will be small r and your theta will be 2 pi. Why is it 2 pi? Because one circle, one circle means 360 degree. 360 degree in radian is 2 pi lah. So that's why here you will get 2 and 2 cut, you will get pi r square. So this is the area of the circle. But you also need to find area of garden, right? Because don't forget, you want the ratio of this thing, the circle, to the whole garden, right? So how do you find area of garden? It means you find the area of big sector. So which formula? Same formula lah, 1/2 r square theta. But what will be your radius? Your radius will be your big R, right? But you don't, I recommend you don't write the big R, okay? Because if you write the big R, you cannot, compare it with the area of plot later. So how do we do it? Okay, let's think. Okay, what do we write for the theta? I'm sure we already know what we write for the theta, right? Because for the theta, we have to write this angle, right? For the theta. So for the garden, the angle will be 2 theta, which is 2 times 30, which is 60. So 60 degree, but that one is in degree, right? Degree, but I have to convert to radian, so I have to times pi over 180. So when we cut, I left with 3 here. So the radian is pi over 3, right? But the problem is radius. If I write big R, no. I think I have to write in terms of small r. So how can I use this? Yes, right? Because I already know big R equals to what? Okay, let's do it here. Okay, let's do it here. Because I already know big R is equals to the small r bracket 1 plus 1 over sine theta. But since now they already give me theta is 30, it means I can calculate all this, right? So what is 1 divided sine 30? If you press calculator, you will get 2. And then 2 plus 1 is 3. It means this whole thing is 3, and then 3 times r is 3r. It means big R is actually equals to 3 small r. So the big radius is actually 3 times the small radius. So the area of garden is what? 1/2 r square theta, right? And then the r is the big R, but the big R is 3r. So this one 3r. Now the 3, okay, cannot cut. So now it becomes 1/2. 3r square is 9r square, and then pi over 3. And then what is 9r square? 9r square times pi is 9 pi r square, and then bawah darab bawah is 6. And then cut, you're left with 3/2 pi r square. So this is the area of garden, and then this is the area of plot. So they want to find ratio of garden that is to planted with roses, right? So the ratio will be what? It will be, which one divide which one? Do you take pi r? So it will be pi r square, which is the garden, the plot, the one planted with roses, and then divide with 3/2 pi r square. You divide like this to get the ratio. So pi and pi can cut, r square can cut, and then there's nothing here means 1. What is 1 divided 3/2? 1 divided 3/2 means 1 times 2/3, so it will be 2/3. It means the ratio here is 2/3. Let's read again. Find the ratio of garden that is to planted with roses. So I'm finding the ratio garden planted with roses, right? So the ratio of planted is 2/3 lah. Yeah, it means the roses area, the rose area is 2, but the total is 3. right? So the roses only occupies 2 portion, but the total area is actually 3%. Okay, so I think this is how you do it. Okay, let's continue with C. Hence, calculate the length of fence required to fence along the shaded region when big R 15. Where's the shaded region? Oh, this one lah. This one is the shaded region. So let's make this smaller. Okay, I think I will just do my working down here lah. Okay, the big R is 15. Hey, if they give me big R, it's very, very good because now I know this is 15, this is 15, and then I also know my small r, it's 15 divided 3, which is 5, right? Wait, how do I know that? Because I already know big R equals to 3 small r. So if I ganti here R, so that's why I know the radius of small circle is 5, right? But how do I calculate the length of fence required to fence the shaded region? It means I'm finding the perimeter lah. So what will be the perimeter here? It will be 3 lines add together. The first line is the arc, the length of arc, and then the other 2 lines will be the adjacent here, right? So how do you do it? Okay, first of all, let's find the length of arc. So I will use the arc formula, which is r theta. What is the radius used to find this arc? It will be using this circle. So definitely the radius I use is 5, and then times with theta in radian. What will be the angle here? Obviously it would be, okay, this is a right angle triangle. You already know half of it is 30, right? Okay, here lah, the whole thing is 60, right? Because this now I know already theta is 30, right? So 2 theta is 60. So half of it is 30 here lah. So if this is 30, this is 90, it means this is 60. Because you take 180 minus 30 minus 90 to get 60. It means here must be 60 also. All right, it means here is 30, 30, 60, 60. So the total angle here is 120. So the formula for arc is r theta, and the theta is 60 plus 60, which is 120. But you have to convert to radian. That's why you have to times with 3.142 divide 180. This time you will press the pi. Just now I never press the pi because I want to compare the two area together. That's why the pi I leave it there so that I can convert to ratio easily. This one I don't think you have to. I think you have to tekan the pi for this question. So let's press all this and see what happens. 120 times 3.142 divide 180 and then times 5. Okay, the whole thing is 10.47 cm. But this is not the answer. This is not the answer. This is just the arc, right? I'm finding the perimeter, okay? Because they want the length of fence required, right? So I'll just write perimeter, or you can also write length of fence, okay? Length of fence means perimeter lah, it's the same. It will be 10.47. Still have to plus with it. Still have to plus with this panjang and this panjang. And guess what? These two panjang will be the same length. So you just have to find panjang here and then times 2, right? So it'll be 2 times what? Well, I think this one you can use Pythagoras theorem, right? Because this is 5 cm. Do you remember? The right angle triangle, if I draw it out, this is 5 cm, right? This is 5 cm, and this one is 90 degree. And this line, do we have it? The answer is yes, right? Because we know it's x. And then x is r over sine theta. And theta is 30. And then, yeah, we can actually refer to this triangle, right? Or, no need lah, because we already know the whole thing is 15. So it means from here to here is 15. But here is 5, ma. So the hypotenuse here should be 10, right? So to get here, you just use Pythagoras theorem, right? It will be square root, what? It will be square root 10 square minus 5 square, right? Okay, my diagram is very messy, I know, okay? But I hope you still can understand what I'm explaining. So, but you have to times 2. After you take the square root 10 square minus 5, you have times 2, right? Because there's 2 sides here. And then only you plus with the arc. So I think if you press all this, you will get to the final answer, right? Okay, let's write here. So let's press calculator. 10 square minus 5 square. Okay, the calculator give me 75, but you have to square root answer and then times 2. And after you times 2, you have to plus with 10.47. Okay, my calculator give me final answer is 27.79. Okay, but the unit is meter, I think. Yeah, because everything is in meter, right? So that, yeah. So that's okay. Finally, we are at the last question. Okay, but actually you don't have to do this question in exam, right? Because this bahagian B you only choose two questions, right? Out of 3, you only choose 2. But I will do all of it, right? So I will do this question also. So definitely this is trigonometry, right? Just by looking at the question, you know it's trigo. Okay, let's do it. Given cos 20 is H, sine 48 is G. Express sine 68 in terms of H and K. Okay, let me tell you a common mistake yang pelajar selalu buat. Whenever they do this question, what they do is they terus buat. Itu salah. Itu salah. Whenever they ask you to find something theta like that, what you should do now is to draw. If they give you cos 20 equals to H, sine 48 equals to G, what you should do now is lukis. You should lukis. Okay? You shouldn't terus buat. If you terus buat, you will buat salah. You will buat salah and you will not have enough information. So the correct way now is to lukis, right? So let's lukis, right? So the first diagram, you will draw a cross. And since they say cos 20 is H, cos formula is adjacent or hypotenuse because it's kah, right? So it's H over 1. So the adjacent is hypotenuse. The adjacent is H and the hypotenuse is 1. But cos 20 duduk dekat which quadrant? First quadrant. So your right angle should look like this. This is your 20. And depan angle, we call it opposite, but we don't have that. And hypotenuse, we know it's 1. And then the adjacent is H, right? Because it's H over 1. So this is the A, this is the... So the adjacent is H. So the adjacent H, hypotenuse 1. So can we find the opposite? The answer is yes, right? How do we find opposite? It will be square root, use the Pythagoras theorem. It will be 1 square minus H square, which is square root 1 minus H square, right? This is my first diagram, right? But sir, they never asked me to find this lah. Hello, even if they never ask also, you need to find this. For this type of question, you memang kena buat macam tu. If you don't draw, you cannot do this question, right? Trust me. Because when they ask you to find something data like this, like sine data or cos data or tangent data, you have to draw. That's the step yang you kena hafal. Okay, so let's make this smaller. Why I want to make this smaller? Because I realize there's another diagram to draw, right? There's another diagram to draw. What's the other diagram? For the sine 48, right? So 48 is also another quadrant 1 angle. So you will draw in quadrant 1 also. But this time it's sine 48. So sine punya formula is O, opposite over hypotenuse, right? So the opposite is G. So the 48 opposite, I'll write G. And then the hypotenuse, nothing bawah means over 1. So the hypotenuse is 1. So can I find the adjacent? Yes, use Pythagoras theorem. Square root 1 square minus G square. Why minus? Because you are not finding the hypotenuse. If you are not finding the longer side, you will minus. So it will be square root 1 minus G square. Because 1 square is 1, right? So this is the adjacent punya panjang. After you draw this, now only you do the sine 68. Okay, how to do sine 68? You will look at which diagram. Okay, both diagram also you cannot tengok because this is for 20 degree, this is for 48 degree. So I think what you should do is you should break down the 68 because we all know 68 is actually 20 plus 48. So you can write it like this: sine 20 degree plus 48, right? Because 20 plus 48 is 68, right? Tapi kenapa saya buat macam tu? Sebab saya hanya ada diagram yang 20 degree dengan 48. That's why I have to force myself to do like this. And now I will use the addition formula, addition angle formula, which is sine A plus minus B formula. What is the sine A plus minus B formula? It will be sine A cos B plus minus cos A sine B, right? This is the addition angle formula, right? And there's another one for cos and tangent as well, but I will not write that because I will only be using this formula for this question. So this is the formula that I will use. This is the formula that you need to hafal in addition angle. So what is your A now? 20. What is your B now? 48. Oh, and by the way, this formula got give in exam 1. It's given in the exam, right? Okay, so A is 20, B is 48. So now it will be sine A cos B, and your A is 20, right? So sine 20 cos 48. And then plus minus here means you will follow what sign? You will follow the sign here. If here is plus, here is plus. If here is minus, here is minus. And then cos A sine B, so cos 20 sine 48, right? And then now you will just open bracket, 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 bracket. So it will be bracket, bracket, plus bracket, bracket. Okay, when you find sine 20, you will refer to this diagram because this diagram is 20 degree, right? So how to find sine 20? Opposite over hypotenuse. What is the opposite? Square root 1 minus H square. And then what is the hypotenuse? Because sine is opposite divide hypotenuse. What is the hypotenuse? 1. So bahagi 1 tak payah tulis, right? So now you understand why I asked you to find the opposite even though the question never asked. Because if you don't find the opposite, how can you do this question, right? So now you understand. Cos 48. What is 48? Okay, when you do cos 48, you will not refer this first diagram, you will refer to the second diagram. And you will go look for adjacent and hypotenuse. Because cos, so cos, of course, is ka. So adjacent hypotenuse. The adjacent is square root 1 minus G square. And then the hypotenuse is 1. So divide 1, tak payah tulis pun tak apa. And then what about cos 20? Cos 20, you can tiru from here, H. And then what about sine 48? Tiru from here also, G, right? Of course, you want to refer diagram also can, you will get the same. If you don't believe me, okay, tengok, cos 20, you see, cos 20 is adjacent of hypotenuse, right? So it's H over 1 lah, which is H. And then sine 48 is opposite of hypotenuse, so it's G over 1, which is G, right? So yeah, this is how you do it. Now you just simplify everything. Okay, square root times square root, they can, how to say, combine into a single square root. If I have square root A times square root B, memang you boleh jadikan, it can change to square root AB like this. It means this one, square root times square root, it will become 1 square root. And then these two, you will write like this, 1 minus H square, 1 minus G square. And then plus with H times G is just GH, right? And I think this is the answer already. You don't have to keep going, right? Of course, some of you might say, hey, this one can expand. But even if you expand also, you cannot continue further already, right? So for me, I will just stop here. Okay, so this is my final answer. Okay, let's continue with question B. B says what? Okay, B is very different because they never ask you to find something data. They ask you to find data because solve means they want to find data. So for B, you don't have to draw. But in exam, if they want you to find something data, something like that, they want to find sine or cos data or tangent or cosec or whatever, then you have to draw. But for B, they want you to find data. This one you don't have to draw, right? So you will just straight away do it, right? But this one later you have to check whether it's normal case or special case. If normal case, you press calculator. If special case, kena hafal dalam otak and then terus tulis. Okay, let's write down the equation first. 4 cot square theta minus cosec square theta equals to 2. And they want your answer to be in between 0 and 360. Okay, no problem. Now we will try to solve this equation. But now this equation got cot, got cosec. We want our equation to be only have cosec ataupun only have cot, then only it's easier to solve, right? So how do we make them supaya the equation hanya ada satu trigo sahaja, means hanya ada cosec or hanya ada cot sahaja? How do we do it? Well, we can use basic identities because this is square, right? So do you remember all the basic identities? So basic identities got 3, right? First one is sine square theta plus cos square theta equals 1. Okay, this is very kena hafal punya, eh? And then the other one is 1 plus tangent square theta equals to sec square, right? Almost messed up. And then the last one is 1 plus cot square equals to cosec square, right? So these are the 3 basic identity you need to hafal. Oh, and by the way, I got one, I think last year punya trial 2022, I don't remember which state, but got question yang dia suruh prove ini formula, right? And I remember I got teach you how to prove this formula in class, right? It's by using Pythagoras theorem, right? This formula actually come from Pythagoras theorem. But anyway, this question didn't ask for that, right? I just want to mention it. Okay, so how do we use basic identity in this question? So if you look at this, this is cot, this is cosec. So what we can do is we can change the cot square to what? To cosec square minus 1, right? Because 1 plus cot square is cosec square. So if you want cot square, the 1 I can pinna here, then it becomes cosec square minus 1. So now you write what? 4 bracket cosec square minus 1, right? And then minus cosec square equals to 2, okay? But of course, there's another method, which is like you don't change the cot square you leave it, and then you change the cosec square instead. And then you change the cosec square to 1 plus cot square. Can also. But if you want to do it like this, then make sure you don't change the cot square. Right? Means you only change the cosec square, right? But the one I'm doing now is like I change the cot square to cosec square theta minus 1, and then the cosec square I leave it, right? You jangan the cosec square also you change, the cot square also you change. Don't do that, okay? Because if you do like that, then you will end up with 2 different trigo. I want my equation to have 1 trigo all the way. So now if you look at my equation only have cosec square. So now it's easier to solve. So first thing first is you expand. So it will be 4 cosec square theta. All right, I silap tulis. 4 cosec square theta minus 4 minus cosec square theta equals to 2. And since other square means I can susun jadi general form, pindah everything to one side and then factorize using calculator. But cosec square minus cosec square, it will be 4 cosec square minus 1 cosec square, it will be 3 cosec square. All right. And then minus 4. But the minus 4 the 2 can pindah here, so it become minus 4 minus 2 minus 6 equals 0. And then now you end up here already. So how you continue? You can actually, let's see. I think you can pinna the 6 to the other side. So now it become -6 become +6, and then the 3 also you can move here. But the 3 is times relation, so become divide 3. So potong left with 2. And then now cosec square is 2, right? And what is cosec? Okay, I think you pinna square root. Yeah, you pinna square root. You pinna square root first. Because cosec square here means what? It means cosec times cosec. Okay, it means cosec theta times cosec theta. Right? That's why it's right cosec square. So it means it's actually square can move also become square root. So it becomes what? Cosec theta equals to plus minus square root 2. Right? Because when you write square root, there will be a plus minus sign like this, right? So now it will be cosec theta equals to square root 2. Okay, we press calculator, what the calculator give me? Let's press 1.414. Okay, 1.414. So you can write 1.414, but got plus minus sign here. And cosec is actually what? 1 over sine, right? So you can also, the balikkan this become 1 over sine theta, right? So now it will become what? Now it will become this one can move up here, this one can move down here. So it becomes sine theta equals to 1 over 1.414. But there's also another one, which is sine theta equals to 1 over negative 1.414. Because it can be positive or negative mah. So that's why when you pindah bahagi jadi darab, darab jadi bahagi, there will be two answer. Okay. It's either 1.414 or negative 1.4. So sine theta equals to something here, and then sine theta equals to something here. All right, let's press and see what I get. 1 divided 1.414. Okay, I get 0.7072. Okay, actually, I don't like how I write it. Actually, if I write it like this, can also lah. Okay, can also, but wait, let me think. Okay, wait, okay lah, can lah, whatever lah. Okay, but actually, there's a better way to write this. Okay, my working is very complicated, but actually ada cara yang lebih baik. Tapi tak apa lah, I just do it like this. So what is 1 divide negative 1.414? So it's negative 0.7072, right? Okay, later I'll show you a better way to write the working, right? So now I will find theta lah. Okay, if sign positive means the first quadrant and the second quadrant. If sign negative means the third quadrant and the quadrant 4. So now you can get your reference angle. How to get your reference angle? Shift sign 0.7072. Remember, you will not press the negative, right? For this one also, you will not press negative. You get 45. You also get 45, right? But instead of writing theta here, you have to write RA. RA means reference angle. And then now only you write theta. Okay, how to convert to quadrant 1 and quadrant 2? Quadrant 1 terus ambil, quadrant 2 is 180 minus. So 180 minus 135, right? Then what about quadrant 3 and quadrant 4? Quadrant 3 is you take 180 plus, quadrant 4 is you take 360 minus. So you will end up with 225 and 315, right? 180 plus 45 is 225, 360 minus 45 is 315. So your final answer will be all these answers combined, which is 45, 135, 225, 315. Okay, actually there's a better way to write this, right? Just now I mentioned to you. Okay, you can okay, this is cosec square equals theta, right? Okay, so you can actually you can actually do it. You can actually write like this. 1 over, because cosec is 1 over sine, right? So you write 1 over sine square equals theta, then only you pindah becomes sine square theta equals to 0.5. And then only you sine theta equals to square jadi plus minus square root 0.5. And then it will be sine theta equals to plus minus 0.7071. Okay, because when you square root 0.5, let's press. Yeah, you get 0.7071. And then only you shift sign, right? But the plus minus sign, you can ignore it. Because if plus minus means you want the quadrant in 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Because plus minus means sign boleh bernilai positive, sign boleh bernilai negative. Means all the quadrant you have to take lah. So when you shift sign this angle, you'll get 45. And then the 45 you have to convert to 1, 2, 3, 4, which end up same answer lah, like that, right? But if you write it like this, it's better actually, because your working is much more how to say, it's much more compact, right? Compared to this, like look at my working now. Okay, but can also you want to do it like this also can, like this also can, right? So I guess I'll just erase this, right? If I have the chance to do it again, I'll do it like this lah. Okay, so is another way to, because if you write like this, your working will look better. Okay, your working will look way better. Okay, now for my last question, soalan C, let's go. Soalan C says what? Given theta is 30 degree, okay, show that cos theta over 2 equals to this. I'm sure I'll be using atas punya information, right? Or I will just do it from scratch. Okay, I think the C question is not related to the B and A question. I think you just have to do it like independently. So how to do this question? Okay, let's think. Cos theta over 2, cos theta over 2, half angle. Okay, whenever I look at this, what comes into my head is the half angle formula, right? So do you remember what is half angle? Half angle actually come from double angle, right? Okay, what is the double angle for cos 2 theta? Actually, there is one for sine theta and there's another one for tangent 2 theta, but I will only write for cos 2 theta, right? So you have to hafal. Do you remember cos 2 theta can change to cos square theta minus sine square theta, and one more is like 1 minus 2 sine square, and there's another one is 2 cos square minus 1. All these formulas got give in exam, right? But you need to hafal so that you can, how to say, use it whenever you want. Because once you hafal, you don't have to worry about thinking the formula. You just have to worry about thinking about how to solve the question, right? So that you have more working space, you have more thinking ability during the exam, right? But if you don't hafal, you have to think about the formula and you have to think about how to solve the question. Then it's like very difficult for you, right? But if once you hafal, you only have to worry about how to solve the formula. It means you can take out whenever you want. Okay, how do we solve this? This is the double angle formula, but I will write down the half angle formula. So half angle formula actually come from the double angle. It's just that the cos 2 theta become theta here, and now instead of theta, all the theta will become half. So it becomes cos square minus sine square half. And then this one will be 1 minus 2 sine square, and then half. And then 2 cos square also become half, right? It means that if this is 2 theta, this is 1 theta. But okay, sorry. No. If this is 2 theta, all the theta here is 1, right? But if this one become theta, all the theta here have to divide 2, all right? That's what it means. Okay, how to do C now? How to do C now? So they want me to show that cos theta over 2 equals to this, right? So let's think about this. Which formula I'll use? Cos theta over 2. Did I see cos theta over 2 here? Yes, this one, right? This one, right? Cos theta over 2. Of course, you can use the other one also, but I think this one is the most simple one to use, right? Because 2 cos square theta over 2 minus 1 equals to cos theta, right? And then I will try to find cos theta over 2 and I will try to make this single, right? So how do we pindah? Cos square theta over 2, pindah the 1 first lah. So it become cos theta minus 1 jadi plus 1 times 2 jadi bahagi 2, right? But there's still the square root, the square, right? So the square when you move here become square root, right? So now I'm actually finding cos theta over 2, which is what they want to find here, right? But we have to show that this whole thing is equals to this when theta is 30 degree. So just sub it in lah, just sub 30 degree here. So it'll be cos 30 plus 1 over 2, right? Okay, cos 30. 30 is actually a special angle. Cos 30 is sec 3 over 2, right? So plus 1 over 2 like this, right? Okay, for those who's asking, hey, sir, how you know cos 30? I teach in class already, ma. Whenever you have to hafal, there are some angles that you have to hafal. Okay, for example, 30 degree, 45, 60, right? And you have how I teach you to hafal. Sini 1 over 2, sini 1 over 2, sini sec 3 over 2, sini sec 3 over 2. Sini 1 over sec 2, 1 over sec 2, and this one 1 over sec 3. This one 1, this one sec 3. And then this one is sine, this one is cos, this one is tangent, right? Do you remember this table? I told you to hafal, right? Because for this, so that's how I know cos 30 is sec 3 over 2 because I hafal this table, right? Okay, how to continue here? We can simplify further. The over 2, leave it. This one we can combine, become single fraction. How to combine, become single fraction? Make everything over 2. So the sec 3, I will write it. And then the 1, I will times 2. So become plus 2 here, right? So now you will end up with square root. Okay, what is this? Sec 3 plus 2 over 2 over 2. So it becomes sec 3 plus 2 over 4, right? But how they want me to write it? Because this is a show question. Show question means your answer should look exactly like this. So how they write it? Square root 2 plus square root 3 over 2. So I think I will write down what I mentioned just now, which is square root 3 plus 2 over 2, which is square root 3 plus 2. Okay, divide 2 means divide 4, right? Divide 4, right? And what does it mean by square root 3 plus 2 over 4? Means this big square root have to square root atas or square root bawah? Have to square root both, right? So have to square root both means it means you square root bawah and square root atas. So when you square root atas, what happens? You will get square root 2 plus square root 3, right? Ataupun square root 3 plus, it means atas kena square root lah. Tapi square root 3 plus 2 dengan 2 plus square root 3 benda yang sama. So atas kena square root, bawah pun kena square root, so square root 4. But what is square root 4? 2, right? So this one is 2 lah. And if you look at this, is this the same as what they want? Square root 2 plus square root 3 over 2. Yeah, right? It's the same thing, right? So that's the answer. Okay, surah siap. Bye-bye.